What is up, everybody? Thank you for all the resubs coming in. Much appreciate that. And let me log in and see all those pretty names and see who was kind and nice to us. Let's see. Alrighty.
Yes.
So
we will shout them out. Everyone else is shunned.
Sassika, Prepperjack, Terrapixels, Neo Gambit. Thank you all for the resubs. And Prepperjack gifted a sub to Jane. Oh my god.
Jane.
Why? Thank you.
Wow. You don't sub to our channel?
Thing ever. Yeah.
I do sub to our channel.
And whenever the camera reset, two of you switch.
Okay.
So there we go. I've just switched it back.
But
Alrighty,
thank you.
Now you.
Thank you.
Yeah, someone said Shackett looks different today. I know. He was looking so much more attractive for a second.
Yeah, I trimmed. Oh wait, that wouldn't be enough, huh?
Oh man.
I would disagree with this sentiment. I think comparing anyone's looks to Shaggett is kind of like
Yeah, Satch. Yeah.
He's a sexy
a
bass.
blaspheme and repent, actually.
Yes, repent.
Oh, indeed.
Repent!
Repent! All right. Well, welcome to How We Roll, and the first of a fun and different stream. For the next couple of weeks on Mondays and on Thursdays, two different groups, two different stories. We're going to be taking the shiny new tabletop role-playing game that is currently in open beta for a spin and see how we like it, see how you like it, and just generally try to have some fun. The game is called Daggerheart. Daggerheart is by the marketing company that is kind of behind Critical Role, and it is a little bit different than normal systems. Hopefully, mostly for the better, being that it is totally and utterly, as I repeat again, in open beta, and it has only had its first revision. There may be some things that may not be 100%, but I'm sure that they will be fixed and corrected. Hope they will be fixed and corrected as time goes by. But a couple of things to notice. The little window directly below me is an all-important window. That's where all the dice rolls are going to be. Took a little bit of figuring out to make this happen, but hopefully this is going to work for us. Each of our characters each of our players has a nice character to play for you this evening, all very different. We're going to introduce those in just a second. But to preface the session tonight, just know that Daggerheart is a very rules-loose, not very clunky, mechanical type game that focuses heavy on the narration. And the way it kind of works is, as players perform actions, they give me opportunities to do things back to them in a way that's going to enhance the story and develop the narration and stuff like that. When they roll dice, they're going to be using something called the duality dice, which is 2d12. The nice kind of white cheery dice represents hope. The more purple ominous dice represents fear. Every time they roll, they'll be rolling both of those dice, typically for any kind of skill or combat maneuver. If they succeed, which means they meet the difficulty, and the highest number is hope, that's a good thing. They gain a hope token that they can use to power abilities and change the narration in their favor. If they succeed but with fear, they get what they want, but potentially with a small consequence. If they fail but with hope, well, things didn't go your way, but that's all that really happened. But if they fail with fear, potentially something unpleasant may also occur. The rest, you're going to figure it out as we play. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce our characters. And it's a familiar set of faces behind these characters, but we're going to kind of give them the opportunity to give us a little bit of an introduction and tell us what their ancestry is, which is their race, what their character class is, as in what they're going to be playing, and then also where they're from, which is going to come down to their kind of homeland, as it were. What kind of class, what kind of society, or whatever that they were born to. So first up, we have first time playing Daggerheart with us, it is the Snuggler.
What's up, everyone? It is I, the Snuggler, and today I'm going to be playing a wizard, a human wizard named Gerbert Sherberberry, and he's just a really nice guy. He doesn't have a lot of world experience. He was a little sheltered as a kid, so he dove into books. Is how very Belle from Beauty and the Beast kind of a thing. He explored the world through literature, through books, through reading, through mind expansion more than actual physical expansion. So he delved into the world of wizardry, and now he is being forced to actually go out into the world. So that's kind of his starting point, where we're going to catch up with him here.
And what was his community? Where did he come from?
His community is Orderborn.
Okay.
So there's not really much I know more about that, Gore. So if you want to, fill it in.
Yeah, Orderborn, basically, it's kind of what you just said.
Yeah.
Being born in an Orderborn community means that you are from a collective that focuses on discipline or faith, the upholding of a set of principles or set of studies that kind of reflect on their experiences. And
Perfect.
Based on that, there's some special abilities that kind of come along, which you'll find out a little bit later. All right. Also joining us, we have Satchmo.
I'm Satchmo. Hi, I'm going to be playing Orang. He's a monkey man. He's a Mr. Monkey Man. He is a monkey type man. His lifestyle choices led him from his Slyborn upbringing to being a bit of a scoundrel, from which he had to run, so he became a pirate. His pirate captain got captured at some point. They all got arrested. He went to jail, and he just got out of jail, and he's looking to just kind of make some decent living, doing good things.
There you go. So Simia is the race, and whereabouts? What community were you from?
The Slyborn community, which is
okay.
up in the underbelly of society, surrounded by criminals and con artists. I have advantage on rolls negotiating with criminals, detecting lies, and finding safe places to hide.
There you go. Very useful. All right. Also joining us is Jane Ivana.
Hello. That's me. I'm Jane. And I'm playing... I would like to introduce you to my character. His name is Oshara. He is an old bumbling turtle. He's from the seafaring lands. He's a seaborn creature. He grew up being a fisherman. The fish were always biting. He's always swaying, always relaxing by the ocean. But he did always dream of becoming a druid. He never did it in his heyday of adulthood or in his 20s or 30s or however old turtles get. But he's actually now retired. He's retired.
30 years old.
He's retired.
So old for a turtle.
Oh,
I think we can say that Jane doesn't know a thing about reptiles.
turtles.
Not a
Wow,
single
I mean,
reptile.
snakes with
Fans
stingers.
at
Let's
all.
go, guys.
It was true that when she was creating
Human years.
Turtles live to be 20.
when she was creating her Galapa character, which is the race for the turtle, she did ask
Turtles
me
live to be so
whereabouts
long,
are there
Jane.
stingers.
I did ask that, yes.
So
I'm a Galapa.
Look how
I
long
hope they
turtles
become-
live, Jane.
I hope they have human years and they can live to 100.
there you go.
Yeah.
Sure can.
Except like way longer than that too.
And not in a magical way. Like
No.
just for real.
Yeah,
Or
not in a
even
magical way,
200.
not in a good
Your
way.
pet turtle will outlive you. That's not
Yeah.
something they tell you
Well,
at the
I had a
store.
turtle growing up and it lasted about 3 years.
What did you do to it though?
Yeah, there's a lot of good stories.
How
with
did
that.
you end it?
The
Yeah.
Florida education
Anyway,
system,
back to my
friends.
fun character.
Yeah, let's stop picking on Jane. Let's listen to
Sorry.
Anyway, back
stories
to my
of
fun
Oshara.
character. He is now retired. Still clumsy as ever, but he's now hanging out with the young druids and trying to figure out how magic works, since he figured, it's about time I learn all this stuff. Lots of little mishaps here and there, but he is ready to adventure and make friends and really have a whole second life ahead of him.
Awesome. All right, which brings us to Christy. Who do you have today?
Hello, I'm Christy. I have for you today a clank which I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but it's basically a robot creature of sorts made out of all kinds of bits and bobs. And I am a guardian from the highborn community, which is fancy, eloquent lifestyle. And let's see, what can I tell you about Clank? Clank has a very special job that he holds very near and dear to his little robot heart, and that is taking care of his one and only human boy.
Me.
Who I'm sure you can guess.
Love it.
Me.
As he journeys out into the world, Clank has been tasked with making sure he is safe. So I am his guardian and butler and nanny and everything else, basically, to make sure he survives the life.
Clearly, Gerbert, I don't know whether during gameplay we'll find out whether Gerbert has a nickname for you.
Now, here's the thing, Gore.
At
Here's the
creation,
thing.
you apparently were just called the Z1000.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm Z1000.
It's
You can call me Z for short.
It's a soft G. It's Gerbert,
Oh,
not
Gerbert, that's
It
right.
is Gerbert.
Gerbert.
He said Gerbert this whole time.
Gerbert Sherberberry.
There you go.
Yeah, Matt, I'm not gonna remember that, buddy.
I will
Okay,
now he
just
said it,
Gerbert's fine.
Sherberberry.
It sounds like
Gerbert
the kind of name a drunk
Sherberberry.
person would make up.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't just have 3 drinks at a closing for my clients about an
that
hour and a half
didn't
ago.
Hey, I like that. That means we get loosey-goosey fun, Matt.
Hence the water right at the moment.
That's it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm
Awesome.
trying to catch up with you. 2 beers Monday.
And last but not least, we have Shagget. What are you bringing to the table?
I am playing Rick Roll. He is a fungrel, orange dude with wood armor that's painted blue. For particular reasons I won't get in here because I want people to watch. Gorbad knows, and we had a good laugh about it. He is a wordsmith bard. Of the whatchamacallit community, the Wanderborn community. Which of course the special feature allows me to choose a different community card. For this session, I chose the Ridgeborn, because he travels. He likes to travel, so he's a little bit... He knows how to travel around, even if he's not the most agile person or intelligent person. But yeah, he's a wordsmith.
For this session, then, you get Steady, which is advantage on rolls to traverse difficult cliffs and ledges, and navigate harsh environments, and, because of your survival knowledge, you get to raise your severe damage threshold by 2 temporarily.
Yep.
So that applies for this session and for any session until you change it. And then at that point, it adopts the new one. So there we go. All right, well, there are our heroes. Some of them may know each other, some of them may not. But you know what? Doesn't really matter, because they're all about to get thrown in the same proverbial deep end. So let's go ahead and kick off our episode 1 of Daggerheart. This is in theory scheduled to be a 2-shot. All being well, that's what it will be. But you know how it is when you're trying to do 1-shots, 2-shots, and things like that. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It'll take as long as it takes, is basically the answer. But I think 2 shots, 2 sessions should probably be about right. Right, let me see here. There was some tune that I wanted to bring in. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Let's see.
Wanderborn update is insane.
Right?
I love it.
Wonderboy. That's all I think every time. What is the secret of your power?
Right? What was... Okay, alrighty. So let's kick things off. Alright, so, you guys. You have traveled almost 3 solid days on your journey to reach Densmere. Densmere is on the outskirts of the Sable Wood, and an ideal place for you to learn more about the vast forest that boasts so many legends and strange tales. Densmere, you are told, is but a small hamlet that can offer all the supplies one would need to venture into the woodland realm of the Sable Wood. It is almost dusk when you see the glowing lights of the hamlet ahead, and you quicken your pace so that you can eagerly get there and look forward to a good meal and rest in a warm bed after 3 days of weary travel. As you get closer to the hamlet of Densmere, you can see that it is surrounded by rich farmland. The wheat fields are all tall and golden. The aroma of wheat fills the summer air. But then, breaking through that pleasant aromatic barrier, you catch a whiff of something far sweeter. In the evening air, the unmistakable smell of fresh, hot apple pie. As you wander into Densmere, you can count but 20 or so buildings, the most prominent being a house on a small hill surrounded by apple trees. The grain silos and a 2-story inn are at the center of town. The inn is a sight for sore eyes and weary travelers and sore muscles, so of course you make your way to its door. A large black dog lay sleeping outside the door, a chain tethered to a stake keeping him from being able to reach the door itself and harass anybody entering or leaving the establishment. A large wooden bowl, half full of water, sits close by. The inn is called the Speckled Hen Roadhouse, and the sound of jovial chatter can be heard from within. As you open the door, you are greeted by a much stronger helping of that delightful bouquet, and the warm glow of the lamp-lit main room, and it feels most welcoming. The main room is simple, with a strong oak bar across from the door, and a scattering of small, simple tables and chairs around the room. To the left, a wooden staircase leads up to the second floor, and next to the bar, a simple door which stands open leads into the kitchen. You can hear the clattering of plates as food is being prepared and dishes are being cleaned. The windows have simple wooden shutters which are open, but a light blue curtain hangs from above each window to keep out the night. You cross the hearth and glance around the people. Here there's a gathering of mostly simple folk, majority farmers, laborers, and a few out-of-town travelers that you would guess as you make your way inside. All right, what do you guys want to do? Each of you has your own motivations for being here. The general thing is the Sable Wood is a massive woodland realm that has settlements inside of it. Legend has it that there is a river that runs through it that inherently glows with the moonlight. And there are all sorts of legends and tales told about the wonders, the sights, and opportunities, but also the dangers that lay inside the forest realm. We've just wandered inside this inn. Everybody is there. It's all very vibrant, very jovial. They're laughing, eating, drinking. Nobody seems to be particularly bothered by your group as you open the door and wander through.
Well, is this, I wonder if this is where that scrumptious scent is coming from. I followed my nose, and I believe that this is the epicenter of where it is emanating from. Are you picking anything up on your sensors of that sort? Hey, you need to turn yourself up there, Z. Maybe you turn on your audio module. Hold, let me flip that on for you. Okay, sorry. You were getting a little too talkative on the travel over.
Dip. Sorry. I've told you many times I do not smell. I have no sense of smell, but I trust you by the light in your eyes that you do, in fact, smell something.
I do, in fact, smell something. That's right. Okay.
I will make sure no one is here to harm you. Hold on.
Oh, that's not necessary. Okay, do I need to wait for you? Are you going to say scanning when you do it like every other freaking robot does?
No, I was going to say something else other than scanning.
Well, please continue then. I'm waiting.
Checking. All clear.
Thank you, Z, for that. I appreciate it. And Gerbert and Z will make their way up to the bar, I guess, whatever is there.
Right. I'll point out that Z, primarily because I designed it this way, has a synthetic bright blue mohawk. I
am very cool.
Pretty tall, stands all the way up, and Z's armor, which is kind of obviously there's the metal plates that make up Z, but there is also an over kind of barrence of chainmail on top of that. But beneath that chainmail, it is pristine, shiny, and if the light was to catch it, dare say it would kind of give you a bit of a squint, because Z was made from the finest materials by the richest people, and at one point may or may not have been specifically designed to protect young Gerbert, but that is what Z does now, at the very least. So Z is also pretty hefty and pretty large. And the wooden floor probably creaks a little with the sheer weight of the clank. Almost as if to back up your questioning, you notice, as you're saying all of this, the innkeeper reaches down and pulls up a large 12-inch metal platter and is in the process of cutting a huge, big, thick slice of what is indeed apple pie, puts it on a small plate, and hands it to one of the punters at the bar.
Oh.
As he does so, he smiles and says, "You'll enjoy that."
What is this in front of me? Is this? Yeah, that's hello, hail well met, fellow friend. What is this that you are serving at your fine establishment?
Okay, the innkeeper looks up, seeing you, a huge, big grin on his face. He's about 5'6", a little overweight, probably enjoys his pie as much, if not more, than the next person. Short graying hair, probably about mid-50s. He smiles at you with big rosy cheeks and he says, "Ah, you're just in time. Come in, find yourselves a table. Oh, we've got all kinds of fine fare. And, oh yes, this is my famed fresh apple and cinnamon pie. Would you all like a slice? Or perhaps for dessert after you enjoy one of the other offerings that we have."
Apple cinnamon pie. Z, run a diagnostic on everything you could tell me about apple cinnamon pie.
Examining. Hold on. Examining.
Okay.
Apple cinnamon pie.
Give
Delicious.
me a knowledge roll. So a knowledge roll, basically, you're going to roll the duality dice.
Okay.
And when you roll those duality dice, you're basically going to add whatever your knowledge skill is, or subtract if it happens to be particularly bad. And we're going to get a result. Difficulty is about 12 for you to know all of the ins and outs of what might be in a typical apple pie.
Okay, so I roll the purple and white ones?
Yeah,
Okay.
just the two, and all being well, first playtest, see if it works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here goes.
A roll!
But
Did it work?
no, it's there.
It
Okay.
went
Saw it.
all the way
You
over
succeeded with fear.
It's there. Okay, so yeah, if you guys look directly below, you can see the dice. Okay, so that's a 16,
Yes.
which means
-1,
you are
'cause I have a
100%,
-1.
you did succeed. However, it is with fear, so I get a fear token if I want one.
Okay.
But, so, yeah, you succeed. Basically, you scan your memory banks, and yes, apple pie is typically made with genuinely bitter apples, usually applied with a liberal amount of sugar. He pointed out that he had utilized cinnamon, which obviously you know what cinnamon is, so it's a kind of can be a hot spice if taken in large quantities, but usually just a small amount is applied. It's usually cooked, baked down until it starts to become soft, put inside your typical pastry, which is, water, flour, egg, so on and so forth, and baked at a reasonable heat until golden brown, most often washed with some kind of egg to give it that beautiful golden color. So you can recite all of that if you wish to young Gerbert.
Okay.
Upon doing so, the innkeeper says, "Hang on a minute. How the hell do you know my secret recipe so accurately? That's spot on, that is." You haven't been paying someone to spy on me, have you?
Oh,
And
no,
the jovial innkeeper seems to have gotten a little bit testy now.
No, of course.
Shoulders go up, much bigger than before. Intimidate stance.
Okay. No, please, you'll have to excuse my Fred here. He does get a little emotional, which I don't know if that's possible with
It
what
isn't.
Okay, well, okay, Z, please just let me handle this, okay? So Gore, I don't know if I need to de-escalate here, but I'm gonna just start kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall to get into some of the like mechanics of the game.
Yep.
And I am basically yes, going to use part of my Orderborn background is knowledge is power.
Right.
So that is one of the things that I can basically incite in order to have like an advantage on something or give me a little bit extra of an eke for something. So I am going to immediately just start going, well, you see, he is a built construct made to be able to analyze things right out of the spot. He uses a vast majority of sensors and servos to be able to analyze and quickly depict and detect what is used in a thing, mostly whether it's for danger or for safety. In this case, I've never heard of or had apple cinnamon pie, so I made sure that it wasn't something that was dangerous to me before I ingested it for the first time. So I relied on my friend
here. He has a lot of allergies.
I do have a lot of allergies, which is why I've never had apple pie before. My parents told me it would give me apple belly. Don't know exactly what that means, but I loved my parents very much, and I trusted everything they said. So that no nefarious information or deeds being done here, sir. Just doing my due diligence before I try something new in this crazy vast world that we're living in all together.
Okay, so normally you would roll the duality dice, and you would be making a presence roll, because presence is what covers charm, performances, deceiving, anything like that. But because of your special ability, and you particularly drew from the knowledge is power, you get to roll a d20 as your hope dice for this roll. So you're going to do the duality dice, but with a d20 instead of a d12.
Yes, and I do have a +1 to this roll.
There you go. So you're going to add that as well.
So which one do I roll here? I'm sorry.
So you're going to roll the d12, the white d20, with the purple d12 and add a +1 to it.
Oh, those were supposed to be in the same box.
Yes. That's okay.
Got it. Okay, coming up right now. Boom. Roll. Adding a +1 to that. Oh, thank God.
Okay, well, that was ideal, because here's the thing. When doubles come up, it is a critical success.
Hey!
Which means you get to add a hope. So go ahead and add a hope to your character sheet.
Okay.
And it's a critical success. So he's like, oh, well, that's completely understandable then. No, you can't be too careful coming around it. In fact, I'm quite impressed that clanker's got such a vibrant knowledge of baking and cooking.
Yes.
And Satchmo, my dear, your camera has died.
Yeah, it did that thing. Hold on.
So hopefully we can just kick that back up.
Again.
And Gore,
I'm gonna do the thing.
So while you fix that, I'll kind of dig into my character a little bit more here.
Yeah.
So I also have something called, where is it? Strange Patterns. This is part of the Wizard class feature.
Yes, so you need to
And
assign
I choose a number between 1 and 12, and whenever I roll that number on my duality dice, I gain 1 hope or I can clear 1 stress.
Yes.
And I can change this number after a short or long rest, or just a long rest, excuse me. So I'm just going to go basically right down the middle. I'm going to go with the lucky number 7. That's the number I'm choosing.
Okay, so anytime a 7 comes up on the duality dice for you, you can gain a hope, even if you roll with fear, which normally would not be the case. And you also get the opportunity to clear a stress instead if you feel particularly stressed and are starting to load up on the stress side. Stress is a mechanic that is kind of a resource that, while it's not damage, it is kind of exhaustion and aggravation and all of those things combined. And each character starts out with 6 of those. And if they get to the point where they're out of stress, they're kind of worn down. They've kind of just, everything's defeating them a little bit. They're tired. And at that point, from then on, they are considered vulnerable, which means attacks and things against them are done with advantage. So it's not a good place to be.
Okay, and with that, I will say, yes, I will have your finest slice of apple cinnamon pie. Come along, Z, and I'll turn around on my heel and walk to an open table.
Okay.
After that happens, Z, you hear a tick, 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 tick on your shoulder to get your attention.
I will turn to it. Yes, hello, citizen.
Yes, hello. You mentioned allergies for that little man over there.
My human boy, yes. He is riddled with allergies.
So you're looking at an orange man, right? With a blue armor that's made out of wood, like mahogany or oak or whatever. And I have a journal in hand with a gnarled root as a quill, dipped in ink from my pack. And I go, has he ever almost died from an allergy?
Yes, there was a time that he swallowed a nut.
A nut? Pecan? Pistachio?
Peanut, to be exact.
Oh, a peanut. Oh, well, that's fatal to many.
Hey.
You also mentioned that his eyes were alight. Have you ever seen them not alight? Like dulled down or escaped? Darkened, glazed, fixed, even.
I do not understand this line of questioning. I am now aggressive.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! That is unnecessary. I don't even have a weapon on me.
Please put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply.
RoboCop, baby.
Danny, I mean searching. Threat detected.
What's it mean this time? I know it's you.
Personal questions. You are violating HIPAA Rule 513 and 2. You may not speak.
No. That's unnecessary.
If you ask any more personal health questions about my human boy, I will have to exterminate you.
Okay, well, please definitely don't do that. I'll switch questions. You won't have to be aggressive towards me because that's completely unnecessary. Are you alive? I must ask. We've been on the road for so long. I've seen you operate. I've seen you do things. Do you have? You said you didn't have emotions. I heard you. I overheard you, right?
I am a servant bot. I only live to serve.
Yeah, but surely you have some wants or desires or things you want to do with life.
My desire is to serve.
Him?
Human boy must be protected.
I see. Interesting. I'm gonna start scribbling some notes now.
All right.
Are you well?
That,
Your body is weird. You have strange coloring for your type.
No, actually, this is quite standard fare for my type. If you meet more of my type, although I am a little bit stockier than normal, but that's neither here nor there,
I tire of this. End conversation. And we walk over to
Okay. So yeah, as you guys do that, the innkeeper brings over a nice large slice of pie and slides it in front of Gerbert. And then, as an afterthought, he looks at all of you and he says, a slice for the rest of you? Or perhaps pork chops and gravy with mashed potatoes, rabbit and parsnip stew, chicken and dressing with vegetables? Just to start you off before the apple pie? No?
For me, I'm a vegetarian.
Oh, how about, rabbit and parsnip stew?
No, vegetarian.
Sans the rabbit.
So a parsnip? It's better
Well, a
than
parsnip
what you
and
got
gravy,
in
but I mean,
jail.
it's slightly more flavorful.
I'll go ahead and just hand him a coin and be like, yeah.
Okay. He says, and fair, you've got to wash it down with something. We've got wheat vodka, blackberry and apple ale, orange peel wheat ale, and fresh in some sable thirst wine.
What's the one with the berry? That sounds like fruit.
Blackberry and apple ale goes very nicely with the apple pie. You'll enjoy that.
Yes, I will. And I'll give him another coin.
So yeah, he'll take a round of orders for drinks, whatever you decide. Anyone that wants extra food, he'll bring that out to you. And pretty much he says, if you need anything else, Solomon is my name. Solomon Darwin. This is my fine establishment. And hopefully we can make you comfortable, especially if any of you would like a nice warm bed for the night. And with that, he'll kind of wander back to take care of his innkeeperly duties. Within no time at all, the food and the drink is on the table, and you're all able to enjoy the delicious fruits or meats or whatever it is you've ordered.
I'm going to wander over. I'm going to say I haven't met anybody. I'm going to wander over very slowly with a little short staff as my cane. Well met. You look like a nice young group of adventurers. I couldn't help it over here. This one seemed to know the secret recipe to this apple cinnamon pie. Is that right?
Yes, not so much new as much as deduced. You see, it's quite a little. It's a semantic thing, but there is a stark difference between the two.
Splendid. Well, since you seem to know a lot, I've come to this land. I'm trying to investigate this glowing river in the Sable Woods. I'm just wondering if anyone's seen it yet.
Glowing river, you say?
There's a glowing river. Yes, a
Gerbert
glowing river.
Gerbert will not pull out a notebook. V, jot this down. Listen and dictate as read. Continue. Tell us about this glowing river.
It's a river that glows.
Okay, yes.
And I'm certain it has some magical properties about it. And I would love to spend some time with it. Just I come from the sea and I am quite attuned to the ocean myself. So a river, perhaps I shall like. Especially a magic one.
The end dictation. That sounds wonderful.
Ended.
That maybe be something that we would enjoy trying to find if possibly if you needed some assistance.
I'd love some friends to go with instead of alone is always better.
Did you say
You said this goes into the Sablewood?
Yes.
Like deep into the Sablewood?
Yes.
Like away from where people usually look for someone into the Sablewood?
Yes.
Leave me alone. I'll go with you. River, yes, and hopefully
I love laughing.
be found by anyone else.
How old are you, my friends? I'm gonna look at the turtle.
75.
Oh, is this river supposed to does it have magical properties perchance?
Well, I'm just hoping so. I quite like magic myself, and I'd love to just study it and see if I can glean something from it and have an adventure, as they say.
yes, have an adventure, as they say. I totally agree with that. And I'm sorry, did you say you would love some friends?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds. I would love a friend.
My first friend on the road. What's your name, Sonny Boy?
Oh, yes, hello, well met. My name is Gerbert Sherberberry. And
Oh.
Say it again!
It's
I'm
funny.
sorry. Did you not hear me the first time? I apologize. My name is Gerbert Sherberberry, and I.
He's
Bullying detected. Bullying detected.
this monkey has gone into a fit of laughter. We could all laugh
Yes.
together. If
We
it
could all
will.
laugh together. No, Z, that we're just having fun as a group of friends.
Yes, I have a joke, actually.
Oh,
Please.
What do you get when you cross an owl with an aardvark? Who
ow.
knows?
Oh,
That's very good. That's
Who
very good.
knows?
Z, jot that down for in your joketelling.exe, please. Thank you.
Jotting down.
Wonderful.
Complete.
Thank
Okay,
you.
as you guys are doing this, a young man comes walking in rather late, to which he says, "One for the road, please, Sol." As he wanders up to the bar, Solomon can be heard saying, "It's a bit late to be setting out now, isn't it, Bren?" To which the young messenger replies, "Aye, but his lordship bid me much haste. M's gotten worse. And the old apothecary says that the only Moonglow waters from the Lucent Spring can cure her. He's sending me out now to find someone to head up the Lucent in the Sablewood and get some of the spring water. He's offering such good money, I thought I'd try to do it myself, but, well, it was a fleeting thought. After all, I'm just a messenger, nor a forester or anyone brave enough for a task that would require. So I'll have one for the road and I'll be off if you don't mind. Fair enough then, lad. What can I get you? Oh, you know me. If I'm on the road, give me some wheat vodka. Make it a double. Okay. What a stroke of luck!
Fortuitous.
Oh, we're jumping on that, right?
Yes, well, we should talk to him.
You go ahead.
Oh, sure. And probably the biggest mistake you'll make, I very slowly get back up, very slowly walk over. And the man takes like 3 times as long than if you would have done it yourself. Well met, stranger.
All right, he kind of glances at you as he's just downing his vodka. Taps it twice on the bar. He says, well met. Oh, you're one of those Galapagos or whatever they call them, aren't you? Haven't seen many of those around here of late.
Correct. That is me. I am a turtle. Obviously. So if you would you be interested in joining my friends over here? We'd love to talk to you about this. What we ever heard about this.
Well, I really ought to get going. I mean, I only nipped in for one quick drink.
Well, we might be able to help.
And you might give me a presence roll, please, young turtle, me lad.
Presence roll.
So presence, yes, you're going to make a general dice roll using your presence.
-1.
Okay, with a -1. So that was a 14? Was that right? Was that 14? Or did you apply the -1?
Yeah.
Okay.
-1.
All right.
14.
All right. In that case, then, you succeeded with hope. So mark a hope.
Oh, yeah.
He says, well, I suppose one more for the road wouldn't hurt. Yeah, all right then. Another double vodka for me, please, Sol. And he'll come and grab a table. He kind of grabs a stool from one of the other tables and pulls it up and plots himself down next to you. So now, amongst your interesting crew is a young human. He's about probably late teens, possibly early 20s. Short, blonde hair. Quite a handsome-looking lad, very fit. About 6 foot tall, very athletic. Plops down, and no sooner than he does, his double wheat vodka is brought to him. And he says, well, down the hatch. It's going to be a cold one. And downs it, and then he laughs, and you hear a kind of chuckle from Solomon at the same time. Like, realizing yourself, it's the middle of summer. It's not going to be a cold one. But it's a good excuse to drink vodka. He says, so you're all strangers then? Just come here, you're visiting, traveling? Do you know anybody local?
I have a new friend here, and I don't know everybody else, but perhaps we may get to know each other now.
Well, it'll have to be quick. His lordship's, I'm on very important business for Lord Havisham.
Be quick is not something I am usually up to these days. I'm a Shara. Who's everybody else here? I know.
My name is Rick. How do you do?
Ren, sorry. And the young lad reaches over and shakes your hand.
Gerbert Sherberberry here with my friend and colleague, Thee.
Greetings.
Okay, at this point, you've noticed that Ren's eyes kind of like stare straight into Z1000's chest, and then his eyes are like... And they get wider and wider as he kind of like eyeballs all the way up the clank to this big, pristine, aqua blue mohawk and glowing red balls for eyes. Bloody hell. Are you a clank?
You are correct. I am Clink.
Don't know that I've ever seen a clank so big as that. Last clank I saw was a little fella. He was kind of like a little bellhop running around carrying someone's bags. Doesn't look like you carry bags, though. Maybe body bags. And he clearly seems a little on edge and intimidated by the sheer size and impressive stature that is Z.
Careful what you say to this one. He has an aggression mode.
He
Not
kind of like
aggression,
looks
only
down.
protection.
So Harang kind of looks like a lemur, right? Like or lemur. He's kind of like got the big eyes. Yeah.
A lemure.
Lemure.
Kind of like a candlestick with,
it's his
like,
French
who
cousin.
sings songs.
It's his French cousin.
Yes.
With the kind of black and white tail and all that sort of stuff. And I know
ring
you've
tail
got a
lemur.
bandana.
Kind of looking.
He kind of looks at you and with a slightly different expression, he's like, "Oh, that's nice. You're a friendly-looking little chap."
It's funny.
Well, I appreciate the interest to say hi and all that. Normally I'd be more friendly and stick around and maybe have a couple more drinks, but as I said, I've got some work to do for Havisham. Got to nip off to a larger town and see if I can't rustle up some help.
Well, that is not necessary. You have help right here. A very eclectic group, I might add. And,
Well, I don't necessarily... Well, then again, as he kind of like looks at the clank, he says, "Is it very buoyant? Are you very buoyant?"
No.
Well,
But
well, see, what it is Lordship's daughter, Emma. She's been rather poorly of late, and has been getting steady worse, and he called for a apothecary to come, and apparently the apothecary said that he could make a cure for Emma, but it needed some of the freshest spring water that flows into the Lucent River, Moonglow water. But not just water out the river, it's got to come fresh from the source, he said, where the springs are. I've got a letter from his lordship that I'm supposed to give to anybody, as well as a few other bits of paraphernalia and the promissory note for some payment. Is that the sort of thing you think that your little group here would be good at?
Absolutely. Question though. Is this Miss Emma? Is she a furbog by any chance?
Not last I checked, no.
I was going to say it might just be spoiled milk in the wealth and all.
No, I don't think it's that. I mean, I'm no apothecary, but you would have thought that spoilt milk could have been cured without some kind of strange glowing water from some spring.
Well, not when it's built in, you see.
Well, why don't each of you tell me what particular talents you'd be bringing to this task if I was to hire you? What about you strange-looking fellow with your bright orange, kind of yellowy hair?
Mind if we go tit for tat with the questions? I will happily answer you, but I do have one curiosity of my own.
Oh, sure.
Okay, well, to start, to pave the road, if you will, well, I am a quite astute herbologist, expertise in botany, love the plants. I had a garden when I was younger, kind of in keeping with my whole aesthetic, as you can clearly see. I am one with nature, if you will. If this daughter, you said, or
yes,
who?
Emma, Lord Havisham's daughter.
If she was to die, what would
Hang on.
No, I must know. It's a storytelling thing I have about me, you know. Don't take offense. I just want to know what the outcome would be if it did happen.
How would he know? You haven't explained
Lord
it.
Havisham would be very upset, and
that's it. Just
there'd
an
be a
upset lord?
funeral, and she'd be buried.
No enemies or uprising or any other problems that could occur with her untimely and unfortunate death?
Not considering she's dying of some kind of illness, no. Not like she's been assassinated or anything.
Well, I mean, it could have been poisoned from the jump. You never know. Does he have enemies?
Well, Lord Havisham, I mean, not really. I mean, he's called Lord Havisham because technically he is a lord, but in name only. It's not like he's even that wealthy, to be honest. Not for nobility. No, he's really more of a local merchant that did well.
Well, then with that said, I don't think you could find a better group to help her live.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to find out. So, is that what you bring to the table then? Your knowledge of herbs?
And a way to turn a tale, spin the words, influence people. You know, the usual.
Oh, well, maybe influencing people might help.
Well, there you go.
And what about you, Granddad? What sort of talents can you bring?
Granddad, I quite like that. Everyone feel free to call me that if you'd like. Oh, well, I do believe that the waters are the beginning and end of all things on Earth. Quite a mystery it is, but I believe just a drop can uncover the mysteries of this Earth. And I do bring many talents. I can clearly swim. I'm one with nature. I bring many druidic spells and just cheers overall to water being the life's
so you'd be able to tell what a natural spring was then?
No, I know water. When I see water, I can distinguish a river from an ocean.
I can do that, but I mean, it's a bit more specific that we're looking for a talent. I mean, apparently there's these springs that flow up into the waters, and the flasks have got to be acquired specifically from that, like fresh out the, as it comes up out the ground.
I understand. I can take a flask and put it in water. As you can see, I try to pick up my water and I bump into it, and the water glass spills everywhere. And go, oh my heavens!
Oh goodness! Oh,
one moment.
Let me help you with that, Fred.
Here.
Okay,
Don't
Fred,
put it
I'll
on
help.
that robot.
Oh, he's water resistant. It's completely
great.
fine.
My mistake.
Well, he's not waterproof. He's splash resistant. Again, a semantics thing, but something that is very important.
There you go.
Rick just takes his hands and puts it on the puddles of water on the table and absorbs it.
Oh,
okay.
He just kind of soaks it up.
Yeah, so like the water literally does just almost like you just put a bounty, quicker picker upper down, and that just
That
all
is a
the water
feature.
comes straight
that is
up
a
out of it.
Figure.
He said, well, I can see some use there. What about you, you furry little bugger? What could you bring to this mission, quest, thing, whatever?
Job? In the woods.
Aye, well, you've got to go through the woods, through the sablewood to find the river.
I'm a monkey. I climb. I get ahead and find stuff. If there's something to avoid or something to beat up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really need to question whether or not you've got able-bodied protection with you. I mean, that's ample protection for anybody I could see. And should there be any unpleasant beasties or anything that should try to accost you in the forest, I'm sure our clank friend here can take care of that. Which really means just, what about you, lad? What do you bring to the table?
Well, I bring basically all things knowledge. If there's something to have been studied or read about, I'm pretty good on the uptake of all those things. I'm a fast learner. I do have a little bit of familiarity with the arts of the arcane. I don't really like to use them too often, but if situations do arise, I am able to defend myself in such a way that usually deters most threats. And the other thing that I have is, well, me. So if I can't turn something away with myself, usually they just step in the way and deter them for me. So
obliterate them. I usually just obliterate them.
I don't like to use such craft language, which is why I was trying to be a little more gentle about it. But yes, they are quite good at obliterating anything, really. So they are the brawn, and I am the brains of our little group. Not that they don't have a brain, please. That's not what I meant. Please don't think that that's what I'm saying. My point is the critical thinking is more my side. of things. And so if you need to know something, Gerbert's, if you need to know something, Gerbert's got you pumping. I don't know why I said that.
We are working on the phrasing.
We're working on phrasing. We're trying to workshop something catchy like that. Please.
How about Gerbert's got it? Or Gerbert's gots?
Well, that doesn't
gifts.
rhyme. That doesn't
Well,
rhyme.
no, go for more alliteration. It would suit you better.
So say the whole thing.
It's a soft G.
Gerbert, yes.
Gerbert's.
Join.
Let me ponder this. I'll get back to you, my friends.
Yeah, see, it's not so easy, is it, Fred?
Okay, so Ren looks at you and says, well, to be honest, it would save me a trip. And it's a good day's ride to the nearest town. If you was to take up the mantle, that would put you a day ahead of anybody else, which time could be of the essence. You obviously seem as capable as the next, so yeah, I don't suppose his lordship would have a problem if I was to appoint you. Hang on a second. He reaches inside his tunic and pulls out a brown envelope and slides it onto the table. He says, that's a letter from his lordship. It explains everything.
I suppose I could look at it.
All right. Okay.
I slide the paper over, and I forget that there's a wet spot, and so the paper gets wet.
Oh, watch out for the... Oh boy.
Fortunately, the letter itself is inside the envelope, so maybe some of the lettering is still intact.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Ah,
Take
I
it
got
out.
it.
Soggy.
I got it, my friend. I got it. And I'm going to point at Gerbert.
Yeah?
Gerbert generates juicy giant judgments.
That's too much.
Yeah.
You say it quickly, it works wonders.
Gerbert generates juicy giant...
You just called him a fruit.
Gerbert generates juicy giant... judgment.
Bullying detected.
I think... Okay, the...
I'm gonna hide under the table.
Hold on. I'm sorry. One second. The 1000. Please respond.
Yes.
Please turn down bullying apparatus from an 8 down to a 3.
Are you sure?
This is Gerber, and I approve
Confirm.
this change. This is Gerber, and I approve this change.
Dialing down to level 6.
3. Sorry, that should not be an issue anymore. I do apologize. Sometimes I have to tweak. When I'm on the road traveling, I turn the sensors obviously all the way up to detect more things.
Oh,
when we're in a group of friends, I read that gentle ribbing between friends is a way to show care and love. So I've adjusted the settings, and we should be just fine.
Yes, that's clearly what was going on here.
Yeah.
I'm going to give everyone a suspicious kind of look.
All right, let's see what this paper says. And I'm gonna, look at it, see what's legible.
So yes, fortunately, it was a very thick envelope. The letter itself is perfectly intact, and in very flamboyant and delightful handwriting, or at least that of which font I was able to find. Now I'll go ahead and put this in everybody's journal.
Ooh. Did you think it'd take an hour to give us this letter?
I
would take you an hour to read
He knows
it.
us better than that.
Yeah, he knows better than that.
Do you wish to read that out loud, Ashara, or do you want me to narrate it?
Oh, you better read it yourself.
It's gonna take another hour.
All right, then it says.
Do it, Jen. Do it.
The rest
Take
of the session
forever.
is word by word, 1 word a minute.
Ooh.
Okay. It says, to whom it may concern, I, Lord Rupert Havisham, do hereby hire your services to travel to the Idleware Distributary of the Lucent River, where you must travel to its end and find the natural springs. There you are to fill 3 silver flasks with fresh spring water and bring it back to me post-haste. My daughter is very sick, and I'm told that this is needed to effect a cure. I'll offer you ample gold for your trouble, and will direct you northwest out of town along the road until you reach the Sable Woods. Once there, follow the marked path to River's Run Outpost and hire yourselves a boat, as well as securing directions to the Idleware Distributory. I will, of course, reimburse you for any reasonable expenses and await your swift return. Yours faithfully, Lord Rupert Haversham. Upon completing the letter, inside of his pack, the messenger, Ren, pulls out 3 small silver flasks, puts them on the table, and basically a small bag of gold, enough to basically equal 2 handfuls for each of you. So you can add 2 handfuls of gold. He says, this is in advance and also to cover expenses. He says there's plenty more upon completion.
I just love the name Haversham and feeling like this job is a stable one.
Sham. He says, I don't know a whole lot more than what's on the letter, but if you've got any questions, I'll do my best.
I'm fine.
Yes. General direction to the spring.
Would you like me to file the letter in my database?
Yes, and also any jokes I tell from here on.
I am sorry, little monkey man. I was not asking you.
Hey, Gerbert.
Yeah?
Can you please record my jokes
Oh.
in the big robot thingy?
Sure. What was the... Are you ready to tell it?
Just in general, from now on. 'Cause I
have one joke. Would you like to hear it?
Yes. Say joke on file?
What do you get when you cross an owl and an aardvark?
What?
Who knows?
Very good. So you want to add another one to that, my friend?
It'll happen. I feel like
okay.
nobody got the furball one.
I'm sorry. Oh my gosh.
She's rich and she's sick. And I suggested spoiled milk because if she's a furball, she's a cow.
Oh, I've read about yes, they are cow creatures. Now I understand. Oh, that's bravo.
Oh, I don't have the bot up. I'm sorry.
Bravo. Oh, what
I'll
a
fix that
treat
for
you're
you
going
guys.
to be on this journey.
Alrighty. The messenger will just say one more thing. He says, obviously Lord Haversham is rather desperate, and besides, that's why he's offering the money in advance, but beyond that, only a fool would cross Lord Haversham and potentially be responsible for his beloved daughter's death. After all, if she died, he'd spare no expense to have them, whoever was made off with his flasks and money, have them hunted down to the end of the earth and put in the ground, as it were.
Oh.
But
Well,
you're all obviously
we will
very
always
trustworthy, so
surround
that wouldn't be a
with that.
problem.
Yes, of course. And may you point us in the direction of the river, please?
I think it said in that letter, didn't it? I've never seen it myself, but I heard something about heading north, something out of town, and looking for some signpost.
I don't know. I didn't read it. I was
Just ask for directions.
Yeah, we got it.
He says, well, you can keep the letter with you, and then you can refer to it when you haven't got a fucking clue where you're going.
Well, didn't we just install it on the robot?
Oh, right.
Would you like me to
It's
read
old
the
mind of
passage?
mine.
You
Yes,
guys all
please
should
read the
have access to the
package.
handhold in your character sheets, so...
Yeah. Silly me. Let's go.
All right. You can head out now if you wish. It's pretty late. I mean, time is of the essence, but... I mean, he'll say, well, to be honest, it would have taken me a whole day to get to the nearby town, so even if you stayed the night and rested up, you're still going to be way ahead of anybody else. I wouldn't tell his lordship if you don't. So it's up to you. You can head out now under cover of night, or rest up and head out in the morning.
It is important to get a full night's rest when adventuring.
You guys have been traveling for 3 solid days on the road, so probably
Your
are a
human
little
body
early.
cannot keep up if you do not sleep.
But I want to keep adventuring with my friends.
Perhaps in the morning we can walk the old roads and get to know each other.
It's fine with
Minimum
me.
8 hours sleep before adventure begins.
Ren says, I mean, technically it's an expense, so you can have Lord Havisham reimburse you for it.
And we can play cards.
Cards, yes, I'm quite versed in many of the card games of the region. I've played against myself many times, and I would love to play with a group of friends.
I'm sensing that this poor kid grew up with no friends.
What do you mean?
Norman,
I
no
have
mates. Love it. Okay. Yeah, so you guys can spend your evening enjoying more food, another few drinks if you wish, and get some good, comfy night's sleep. And yeah, I mean, the innkeeper Solomon will have a deck of cards behind the bar if you guys want to dish those out and have a few hands. But after all of that, a fun evening, we will venture out of the tavern, and it is a pleasant morning for a stroll along the fair roads and pathways of this country region. Once out of town, you can see open fields, rolling hills all around you, with a distant promise of the Sablewood to the far northeast. The birds are singing and chirping. Crickets can be heard in the long grass. The dirt road itself is about 10 feet wide and very sturdy underfoot. A good hour or so into your journey, the road begins to wind through a small crop of trees that outskirt the Sablewood proper. The lush green meadows offer glimpses of rabbits, and the occasional industrious squirrel can be seen gathering berries from some brambles close by the trees. It will not be long before you reach the edge of the Sablewood itself, and your eyes begin to scan the path for marks leading to indicate a signpost to find the outpost that was mentioned in your note. Okay. Is there any particular way that you guys generally like to travel? Is there some kind of marching order? Is there usually somebody who's in front? Is there someone that's always kind of nestled up in the middle? Just give me an idea of how your group travels.
I feel like I'm just up in the trees swinging around, if there's trees.
There's trees close to the road, maybe 100 or so feet to the left or right, but none right by the road.
Yeah, so 100 or so feet. That's pretty far. That's pretty far. Yeah, no, I'd just be with the group.
Okay, so you're
Otherwise,
just
I'll
going to
be
scamper
standing
along
there.
with everybody. Okay.
I would be towards the back. I imagine the turtle will be slower than me because old.
We'd all be slowing down to the turtle's
Rick
pace.
would absolutely kind of just meander through, like without a care in the world.
So you guys are kind of moving at the slowest pace of the group?
I would be. I mean, I would be moving closer to the rear than anybody else.
Okay, all right. I mean, even though the turtle is obviously a little bit more venerable than the rest of you, how slow on her on the feet is Ashara? I mean, are you kind of decrepitly slow, or do you kind of get along pretty good for an older person?
I can walk pretty normally, but just maybe slightly slower than normal.
Okay, there you go. All right, sounds good.
There we go.
So other than that, there's nobody particularly in front as a scout or rear guard? You're all just kind of moving together as a pack? Okay.
Probably. I mean, I don't think there'd be any reason for us to, like,
Yeah, I mean, no.
you know what I mean?
Alrighty.
Yeah.
In that case, as we are outdoors and as we are in the wilderness and we are probably close to the wooded areas, I'm going to ask you guys, and primarily for, using some of the roles, I'm going to ask Harang to make a instinct roll. Now, technically, he's not the only person with eyes, so we can consider this a team task. So the DC that I'm looking for is 15. Harang will roll last, but all of you that consider yourselves glancing around, looking at the trees, watching the squirrels and all, you can all also make a roll. We're going to get you to roll one at a time. For every one of you that succeeds in your roll, you're going to add a +1 to Harang's. For every one of you that fails that roll, you're going to add a -1. However, the fear dice and the hope dice do not come into play in this roll. So let's start out and have Gerbert give us a dice roll. Again, it's an instinct. Gerbert, sorry, it's an instinct roll. So you're using your instinct. Any experiences that you have that you can draw upon, if you want to spend a hope, and the experience is valid, you can choose to do that as well.
So experiences cost hope.
You use a hope to burn an experience, correct?
Got it. Okay, well, you know what? I just got one basically, so let's spend it. Why not? So I have an experience called Impeccable Eyesight.
Okay.
And so basically, because I am an adventurer and I am a very slight, not strong person, and I'm kind of venturing out for the first time, I have learned I'm just super on the lookout, tuned in for anything.
Like a new driver.
There you go. So yeah, absolutely makes sense. So you can add. So it's basically you're going to be making an instinct roll, but whatever the plus is for that particular experience, you can add that to the roll as well.
Okay, so what am I rolling here, Gord? Just a D20?
2d20. Oh, sorry, the 2d12. Yeah, normal duality dice.
Okay, rolling right now.
Alrighty. So that's a 10. What do you add for instinct?
+2. +2.
And so total of 10. Okay, so that's a 12. All right, so that's actually not quite a success. That's a -1. So that's okay. Now let's get Oshara to roll. So same thing, DC 15.
Oh.
That's a 7, so that's not good either. That's another -1. They're not helping you out, Harang. They're actually probably... Z1000, let's get a roll from you.
Okay.
Same thing, duality dice, and it's instinct-based. And again, anybody, if you have an experience that you can draw upon, you can choose to use it.
I mean, would I always see it coming apply here?
That's not an experience, that's an ability,
If it's what do you have listed?
Under experience.
She has her experiences. One is what are your two experiences? Remind us.
I have get behind me, and I always see it coming.
Okay. I mean, I always see it coming would absolutely apply here. If you wanna spend a hope, you can use that.
It's funny because there's the ability I see it coming. That's what I got.
Oh right, yeah, she has an experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it gives me a +2. What does that +2 go to? The roll?
So yeah, you can add that plus whatever your instinct is. So if their instinct is either a +1 or
0.
Add that too. Okay, so yes, it's just a
robots
+2
don't
then.
really have instinct.
Oh,
Okay, so
Gore, I have a +1 to my instinct. I don't know if that helped or
it wouldn't have made enough for success.
Okay,
but
just want to make
that
sure
would have been you would have applied.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so if I use that, then I have to -1 of my hopes. Is that
Yes.
what's
Yes,
happening?
you
Okay,
use a hope.
got it.
You burn a hope to use your experience. Obviously, as you
Right.
gain more hope, you can.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's see if this does it. +2 to that, so a
Okay.
12.
Yep, but the good news is, so that's a 12. But you did roll with hope, so you gain a hope back. So you didn't actually cost yourself a hope.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then last but not least, we have Rickroll.
My +1 experience is about nature, gardens, life.
Okay.
Would that apply here?
I would certainly allow that to apply here, yes.
So I'll spend a hope. My instinct is 1, so it's a +2 on the mod.
Yep.
So here we go.
And you failed as well, but you did
Oh
roll with
Oh
hope,
my
so
goodness.
you don't actually burn the
Jesus.
hope. Well,
Sorry, Sag.
So so
Oh,
here's
my
basically
goodness.
narratively, here's what I see happening, okay? They are all chattering, nattering away, pointing at things. Oh, look at that pretty, look at those beautiful flowers. Oh, look at the cute bunny rabbit. Harangue. So you're going to make a dice roll. You're going to be doing the DC 15 instinct roll, but you
Okay,
have a
I have-
-4.
I have a natural +1,
Okay.
and
so
I imagine as the monkey on the pirate ship, I would be in the crow's nest all the time.
do you have an
Would that
experience that would relate to that? What is the experience that would apply to?
In terms of
Sometimes.
spotting things, I'm always looking around. 'cause,
Yeah.
you
What
know-
is the actual experience called though?
Oh, the pirate times.
The Pirate Times. Okay, yep, I would totally see that. Yes, if the Pirate Times is an experience, I can certainly see you up in the crow's nest. So I think you could certainly spend a hope to use that if
I'll
you wanted
burn
to.
a hope. Yep, and then that puts me at plus. So the experience gives me a +1.
Yep, and then
Okay, so then I have +2 and -3.
-4.
-4.
So you're
okay,
gaining
I'm gonna-
3, but you're losing 4. So it's actually your total roll is going to be the duality dice -1.
It's -1.
Yep.
Okay.
So there we go.
Well, here
DC
we go.
15.
Come on, baby.
Nope. Oh yes,
Oh!
it's 9.
Right on the
I made
button.
it.
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
You get a hope.
so you
You get a-
passed.
Wow.
But you passed
You know?
with hope, so you don't have to spend that hope. You can keep that hope on your sheet.
Nice.
However, so despite all the caterwauling and the distractions, fortunately, Harangue is still keeping his eyes on the tree, probably wondering, "Oh, that looks like a fun branch. I could swing on that." And, which means the following. On the left-hand side of the dirt road, you actually notice very kind of cunningly hidden amongst some of the bushes, there's some movement, and just for a second, catch a glimpse of a masked man hiding in amongst those bushes, which basically means instead of them successfully doing an ambush and surprising you guys, you can have a action to prep yourselves. So, first of all, Harangue, you are the one that notices this, so obviously you have to decide how you act first.
What do you call an ambush that I spotted?
Oh, I don't know.
What?
Up on the left.
Okay, so you're kind of
that's
pointing
not-
over at the bushes.
I don't get it.
That's not funny.
Am I adding that
My
joke
little
It's not
to
a
the
joke.
journal?
This is really
No, Vito.
happening.
Oh.
There's someone trying to kill us up there.
None of you were probably able to see anything because it was only a fleeting thing that he spotted, and they like ducked down behind the bushes. So now they are disappeared. But your little monkey fellow is eagerly bouncing up and down, full of enthusiasm, and letting you know that there's supposedly something over there.
I'm gonna pull out my little crossbow and be like, "Do it!"
Alrighty. So here's one of the other things. There is no initiative order in Daggerheart. Players kind of just narratively decide who does what in what order. They just it expects you to be adults at the table. It's basically the way
Picked
I
the
see
wrong
it.
game,
That's a
Dora.
problem.
You picked
So,
the wrong
interesting.
system.
Each
This
of
is
you
awkward.
can kind of tell me how your character wants to respond to this situation, and it all kind of happens at the same time.
Well, hearing that an ambush is incoming, so I would utilize my class feature of rally.
Okay.
Now it does say once the action tracker comes into play, but I'm assuming you said ambush, it's gonna come into play, right? So I'll
Very
populate
probably.
it.
But you can
So-
certainly preempt it, yes.
Once per session, when the GM brings the action tracker into play, describe how you rally the party as they head into the fray. Then give yourself and all allies a D6 rally dice, basically like a bard can do.
Oh, sweet.
I would, of course, step ahead of everybody, kind of to the left,
Okay.
hold out both my hands and be like, ladies and... Well, wait. there's no ladies here, huh? I'm gonna look at everyone, make sure they're not.
I
Yeah,
think
boys
every-
night, baby.
Yeah.
There's no ladies in our party. I'm gonna say, gentlemen.
If there was a lady.
Touche, my little friend, touche. My friends, we might die just now, but we're not going to because we're all here working together. Let us weave this story, this encounter, to be the best of us. The outcome, our success, their failure. And then, of course, I want to observe how they die, because that's quite awesome
Okay.
and fascinating.
So yeah, basically each of you have, and the way this works, there is no time limit on these. They are with you until the end of the session. If you don't use them by the end of the session, they disappear. But between now and the end of the session, any one of you has a D6 that you can roll for the result of any action dice, or damage roll, or if you also want to, you can use it for clearing stress equal to the rally dice number you roll, which is important. So you can have a +6 to hit, +6 to damage, +6 on a skill roll, or if you find yourselves in dire need of getting rid of some of that stress, a D6 for that. So you all have one of those at your disposal. Okay, so that's what Rickroll is going to do. What does he want to do?
I don't know. How far away are they at this point?
Well, funny you should say, because guess what I happen to have ready?
Hey.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's interesting. How do I do that?
In this system, the answer is far, very far, close.
I don't know how
melee?
to do that. I just realized in this new thingy, I don't know how to move you guys.
Is it a right click?
No, I know what I've got to do. Hold on. I just realized I need to copy this. I need to duplicate this so I've got one for Thursday. And then I need to drag this and drop it in the Monday folder. Okay, now I can put you guys on a map. Okay, so I'm going to put... You said you were over to the left-hand side here, Rickroll, but slightly to the front, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Here's everybody else, so you can tell me where you guys are going to be standing. So, yeah, so you move up ahead a little bit and to the left. And over here is kind of where Harang was pointing. So I just need to know what actions each of you is going to do in relation to what's just occurred. And obviously you feel inspired by the fact that you might all die, but you probably won't as long as you work together.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, one of my experience features is the get behind me.
Uh-huh.
Right. So obviously I would say that to my boy here, but like, then does it take, because they're not here yet, so I don't do anything yet? Or
No, so basically you can utilize get behind me when you feel it's applicable to bring it into play, or you spend a hope, and experiences can be used for anything that really makes sense. So, for example, get behind me could be used to shield him from an attack, by whatever, or things
it's not
like
like
that.
a buff of any kind. It's like for in the action of
Correct, exactly.
doing something.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think I'm just gonna basically get in front of. I keep saying Gerbert now because you keep saying
It is Gerbert.
It's Gerbert?
It is Gerbert.
Yes.
It's not Gerbert. It's
No,
Gerbert.
it's Gerbert.
Okay.
Gerbert is the puppet.
Gerbert.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get in front and kind of square up with Shaggott's character, which I don't also know the name of.
Rick.
Rick.
Roll.
And I'm gonna stand right
All
there.
right, so you kind of like just move over to that side, and
Yes.
but you just want psychologically
Defense
want to make
mode
sure
activated.
that Gerbert is behind you. Okay, Gerbert.
Level 3.
Yes, level 2
Oh.
threat detected. Gerber, so we can't see any of the character or any of the
Not
people
at this
you pointed
exact moment. This is like you've been alerted to the fact that there's potentially
Okay.
danger. How do you respond?
Yep. There's not really much I can do unless I see a target. So I'm just gonna kind of nuzzle up close to Z and kind of be peeking out like behind it, waiting to see if I can see something. I don't know if there's like a hold action or what the case is, but obviously there's nothing I can do until I
Yeah,
see
basically,
something.
because there is no initiative, it's really just a narrative thing. We know what you're doing, and
Yep.
then when something does happen, you draw off that narration.
Yes, I'm waiting for a target to aim at.
Okay, Ashara. Where do you want to be?
see me drop my short staff, and then I fall onto all fours, and
Oh
suddenly
God, it's passed out.
everything goes inward into the shell, except you see two eyes will peek out.
Oh,
Instant
okay.
defense mechanism.
Defense
And
mode
I'm looking
activated.
and I'm seeing what happens.
Okay. And Harang. You obviously
love that so
notified
much,
everybody
Jane.
of what was going on, but where would you want to position yourself at this point?
Right next to Z, if Z's gonna be in the front.
Okay. Z is right there.
I'm gonna basically be hiding behind him with my little crossbow ready and a sword drawn, ready to charge in. This is what he lives for.
Okay. So we'll just kind of zoom in a little bit for chat momentarily so that they can kind of see. Here's the lay of the land. Here's where everybody is. And we're going to move things around as necessary. But all right. So upon doing that, from the left, once they realize the jig is up, two hooded men rush out and masked men rush out from behind the trees and bushes and stop just shy of the road. So initially, they both kind of come running out. Does anybody wish to do anything at that exact moment? Like, nothing's been said, they just kind of like come running out. Does anybody want to go gung-ho and like let them have it before anything else? Or
Stop it! Die!
No, I don't.
okay. Well, just as that occurs, you are a little bit more kind of startled as two more leap out from behind you on the opposite side of the road.
Oh.
Acting in a similar fashion. One of them proudly presents himself and says, "Hand over the gold and any other valuables you are carrying. Don't try to act like you don't have anything of worth. We know what you've got." I will allow everybody to make their own, if you feel it's necessary, instinct roll, DC 13. You're all now very much more individually alert and aware of a danger, so I think it's more logical that you all might be in a situation.
I rolled too fast.
Okay, nope. All right, so that's a 14 with hope, so that's a success, and you gain a hope. Snugs, that would be. Hold on, slow down, guys.
Alright.
You gotta. Otherwise, we lose track of who rolled what.
Yeah.
But Snugs, you had an 11.
Yes.
And
Ooh,
you
twice.
rolled with hope.
I did.
So while that's not
Doubles.
while that's not a success,
I add a hope.
you do add a hope.
Got
Now, Jane, you
Oh,
rolled a critical success,
hell yeah.
which means you gain a hope,
I gain a hope.
and something
Yeah.
cool will happen. And
The
last-
shell is like a binocular, you know?
Oh yeah, it's like peering
Love
out.
that.
And Rick, I need you roll.
Yep.
Roll.
It's a tarp.
Ooh.
Okay, Rick rolled, but he
Wait, did Z roll?
I haven't
um,
rolled yet.
No, we got
was
Rick still to
waiting.
go. Okay, so
Okay.
you
I rolled with feet.
failed, but you rolled with fear, so I'm picking up a fear token. And last but not least, we need Z1000.
Okay.
She went.
Still love it.
Ooh.
That is
But-
a solid success, but it is with fear. So
Do you have a plus to instinct, Christy?
No, I do not.
Ah, okay.
Either way, it's a good roll.
Oh,
Is
Okay.
that
so
what would
you're
give it
okay.
hope? Like,
Well,
why?
so that's my question, Gord. Does the mod, if it brings it up to an 11, does the mod make a difference
Mod doesn't
on?
affect the dice. The roll itself, because the +1 is added to the combined roll.
Ah,
So
I
it
see.
adds to it, but the fear dice was still the higher dice, so it's still a roll with
Understood.
fear.
Oh,
Okay.
that's what it is. Okay, I was like, why am I getting
The odds
fear?
are
I want the
actually in
other
our
stuff.
favor whenever we do anything that we'll more likely get hope because of the critical match success.
Correct.
Okay,
But,
but I do get a hope for that though.
No, you get
No,
a
you will
stress.
not gain a hope,
get,
but you do
He
succeed.
gets a fear.
I do
He
exceed,
gets
but
a
I
fear, but you
So
succeed.
basically, for those of you that failed, you are oblivious. To those of you that succeeded, but not Oshara, you guys are aware that there is a 5th individual up in this tree, but he has not made himself known. He is also holding on to a thick chain, and laying down in the grass on the other end of that chain is a very familiar, large, black dog that you happened to see last night outside the tavern. Now, as Ashara rolled with a critical success, as well as getting a hope, you can clear a stress if you needed to, but you don't have any stress yet to worry about. What you notice, however, is he is clearly fearful of the encounter. You kind of get the vibe that he's not waiting to add to the melee. You definitely get the feeling he's a little bit of a coward. He's hiding behind the dog and he's holding the dog back. You can kind of see him go, no, stay put, stay put. So you get that feeling that if things kind of go your way, he's probably not gonna add to this possible situation. On the other hand, maybe if his friends are getting the upper hand, he might feel like it's worth his efforts to jump in. Okay, so we have some thugs to deal with, and this is the first time that we will be doing combat for you guys. So you will notice here on the left is the current fear tracker, which I'm gonna put at my current fear, which is 3. But I start with 2 fear, the same way you guys start with 2 hope. So the fear token currently is a total fear of 5. Every action any of you takes adds to the action token. Okay. As the game master, I can choose to basically start out and go first. But if I do, I have to burn 2 fear to do it. And I don't think we need to do that right now. They've come out, they've said their piece. So any one of you can now step up and begin the actions, as it were. Anything you do that inherently generates a roll is an action, and we'll put an action point on that tracker from here on out.
Harangue's impulsive. He's just gonna shout out, "You don't have the numbers!" What fun!
Okay. Is he doing anything that's considered an action, or are you just kind of like jibing at them right now?
Well, with my Slyborn background, I have advantage negotiating with criminals. I'm basically just trying to convince them this is a bad racket, and they could do better. Through some dialogue.
Fluxtra asked a question. I'm going to answer it for you guys as well, because I should have mentioned it to Oshara. The guy with the dog does also have a hood and a mask on.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Alright.
Back to you, Harangue.
This isn't a good racket. You could do better.
Okay. At this
All
point,
right.
he's not doing none of them are doing a whole lot.
So I'm gonna do an action
Okay.
because they have made themselves. They have become a threat. As they're like
They've
trying
demanded
to-
your possessions and belongings.
Yeah. I'm gonna lean over to Z and say, recalibrate bully level to level 10, please.
Recalibrating bully
Thank you.
level.
And then I'm going to turn and look at this guy right here.
Okay, the
and
two that have leapt out
yes,
from behind you.
And I'm going to use one of my wizard spells.
Okay, what are you going to do?
Yay.
I am going to use Power Push.
Ooh, okay.
So this is an action I don't need to spend any hope or anything to activate.
Nope, all
And-
you have to do is physically hit the target.
Yep, so that's what I'm going to step up and do, and it does 1d10 damage if I hit.
All
and
right.
It pushes back to I think you said a very far distance.
Yes, basically it's going to throw them as far back as they can go for up to potentially like 100 feet. It's a distance. This
Okay,
is not a minor kind of like bump.
Yeah, so I'm going to
okay.
take a few steps up and give them
Alrighty,
a
so the
whack.
difficulty to hit, basically the equivalent of their evasion, if you like. They don't really have armor, and all that stuff is all kind of combined into one thing. So
Okay.
difficulty is 12.
Okay.
So you're going to be making, and you're using a spell statistic, which is knowledge for you.
Have
Yes.
that bonus D6 from
And you do have a bonus
you
D6
choose.
if you wish
Do-
to use it.
Do I have to call it before?
Good
I don't think they
question.
wrote that yet.
Let me see.
necessarily say.
Anyone can spend the rally dice to roll it, adding the results to an action. So, no, you don't. You can choose
Okay.
it to add it when you want to add it. So you can
So this-
roll first and apply it when necessary.
So a straight duality die.
Yep, it does not say that you have to choose. Some of the stuff does specifically say must be decided upon before the roll. It doesn't say that.
Now,
Pretty good
Gort,
odds, that's nice.
should I add the modifier in the DDD dice roll, or do we always add it after the fact?
It's up to you. If
You can hit the little plus in it.
yeah,
you
I
can
see
hit
that.
the plus ones or the minus ones to bring it
Perfect.
to the correct amount. It makes
Yep,
life easier.
I'll add it. I'll add it. Oh, let's go, baby.
Alrighty. Okay, so it's a 14 with hope. So
Ooh.
you gain a hope.
Nice.
We put an action token on the tracker.
Okay.
And so you're going to be doing damage to this guy. So basically, whatever the damage is.
And that's a 1d10.
Yep, so give
So
us a
that
d10
I'll just roll in here. Let's go.
A 10, nice.
Let's go.
All right. And he is going to get blasted back. So here's how this works. Everything in Daggerheart, when you roll the hit points, it's not really that's the amount of damage you did so much as that's the level of damage that they received. So while these guys only have 5 hit points, they also have damage thresholds. Each character, has 3 thresholds: minor, major, and severe. So just because, so we can help understand the mechanics, these guys have a minor of 1, a major of 8, and a severe of 14. So wherever the number that you deal out damage comes into, you look at those thresholds. So you were clearly above the 1, so you would have done potentially a point, but you were also above the major. So you did 2 points of damage. So he actually loses 2 hit points out of his total of 5.
Okay.
And is blasted back. Now, there's trees and stuff behind him, right? So
That's
here's
what I
what
was
we're going to
gonna
do. He can't really go any further back than the trees because he's going to get blown into them. However, he's going to take another d6 damage from hitting the tree. So you can add an additional d6 to that roll of 10.
I will. Coming up.
Which makes it
yes.
14, which means that's actually severe damage for him. So he took 3
Nice.
points of damage. 3 hit points of damage, so that was a pretty solid blow for him.
Now-
Okay.
Okay.
Gort, question?
Yep.
Just for chat and for my clarification,
Yeah.
armor. Could he choose to have his armor absorb, like he spends armor?
So-
How does that...
Technically, yes, but these kind of NPCs don't really have armor stats, right? They just have... All of
Okay.
that is kind of, to keep things simple, all of that is really just put into the difficulty of 12.
Got it. Okay.
So that 12 takes into account his ability to evade, but also any potential armor that he had. Only really special monsters or high-end NPCs or BBGs might have that as a thing. These are considered standard
Okay.
enemies,
So-
so they don't really have all that.
So if it was me pushed into it and I
You
took
could have
over-
chosen to use some of your armor, and I'm sure it'll come out in play. So yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay.
So anybody else can chime in and dive in off the back of what they just saw happen?
Yes.
Incidentally, again, for people watching and to reiterate to you, absolutely nothing says that after that success, Gerbert cannot continue with his lines of actions. So he is not limited. All the time you roll with hope, you can keep rolling if you want to. There are reasons why you would want to do it. There's reasons why you wouldn't want to do it. But anytime somebody rolls with fear or fails, it comes over to my turn. And then I get to use the action tracker that's on the action tracker as actions for my NPCs. And potentially my fear to activate any special abilities that they might have.
Okay.
Ooh.
Because so Rick would have spun around and approached this guy with his rapier and attack.
So you're moving, because you're only moving close, there's no requirement for you to make any dice rolls or anything to make that movement, because you weren't under any threat or anything at that imminent moment. So you get to move up to him for free.
Okay.
And what do you want to do?
Take my rapier and attack him.
All right. So whatever the rapier stat is that you're going to use.
So it is presence. So and a D8 damage die.
All right. So you're doing presence to hit. So your duality dice plus your presence to strike the creature. As I said, the difficulty is 12.
I guess my turn was over, huh?
Well, it's technically no, because you can continue at any point.
I know, I'm kidding. I wouldn't have anyways. I was kidding. I want someone else to go to.
All right. So yeah, that's a 16 with hope. So
nice.
Gain a hope.
Yay.
And we put another point on the tracker.
And I will be spending my rally dice of a D6 for the damage.
Okay. So you're going to add that. So you're actually going to do D8 plus a D6.
Correct. Which I will just roll right here. Oh!
Ooh, okay.
That is crap. It's painful.
So so you slash out with your rapier. Explain to us. So you go up to this guy. He's kind of defensive. He's on the ready.
Yep. I go up and I really. It's kind of a not very impressive slash, right? I mean, with the amount of damage it dealt, it's kind of weak sauce and not as cool as the fucking blowback.
Okay. The good news is you were over the minor threshold, so you did a point. But that's all you really did with your rapier.
Cora, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Proficiency. Where and what is that?
So proficiency is 1. So for right now, it doesn't really do anything much. But as you level, that dice goes up, or that number goes up, and that represents the number of dice you roll for your damage. So when your proficiency is 2, for example, in this situation, Rick Roll would have rolled 2d8.
Because I have my Call of the Slayer thing requires my number of proficiency dice, and it's 1, so I can store 1 there, and then
that's it.
Cool. Okay. So I have 2 in hope, and then I would have.
Okay. Yeah. So you are welcome to. Anybody else is welcome to step up and do an action. At any point, you can all choose to not do anything else, in which case it just naturally passes to me. But
this guy here smacked into a tree?
Yeah, he's kind of like his back is slammed up against the tree. He kind of slid down the tree, and he's kind of sitting in the dirt right now, looking a little bit bewildered.
Yeah, no, then I'm gonna start laughing hysterically as I charge forward to kill him with my sword.
Okay. Yep. You can charge up to him without issue.
And yeah, I'll swing at him.
All right. So make an attack with your blade of choice. Again, the difficulty to hit this guy's 12.
So I have a +1 to attack because it's a short sword. Short swords are like that. Neat. And so I could spend a hope to roll with hope. Is that? I'm confused, I guess.
What is it? You can spend a hope to use an ability that you have.
Okay. Yeah, my abilities are kind of weird in this.
You don't have to spend a hope to roll with hope. You're going to roll, and if you roll higher, if your hope die is the highest,
I'll roll, and then Slayer dice. I can.
Yeah. So duality dice.
Okay, so I can roll an extra d6 with the Slayer dice that are set aside.
Uh-huh.
That's interesting. So throw on a d6. I don't have 6 on the sides. I mean,
So do you get a Slayer dice for each? You get like a Slayer dice for each. Whatchamacallit? You get one dice for each proficiency, or how does that work?
So the Call of the Slayer warrior thing has it where I can.
Oh, you're a
basically,
warrior,
when I
aren't you?
gain
Not a rogue.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
a
when I
roguish kind
well,
of
there's
warrior.
there's
yeah.
no rogue class, so I just went.
Not
for,
well, there is, but
warrior
it's not
to-
what you're visualizing
Yeah,
as
it's
a
not what
rogue.
I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah.
for. Yeah, there's no traditional rogue, so I'm just kind of fighting. But the Call of the Slayer Foundation gives me whenever I gain a hope, I can instead gain a Slayer die, and I've gained 2 hopes. So one of them I took as a Slayer dice,
Okay.
which is an extra d6 that I can throw on when making an attack or damage roll.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm going to add.
So
a
yeah,
D6
so what
to
it
my
says is
dice
on a
panel.
roll with hope, you can place a d6 on this card instead of taking the hope, which is what you did. So you now
So I'm
have
gonna
that
take
story.
that one off now to ensure that I hit hopefully a little bit.
Okay.
And yeah.
And you're using that Slayer dice on the to hit roll, yeah?
Yep. So I'm gonna take.
All
Here,
right.
I have physical dice that I'm counting.
Because you
with.
can use them on attack or damage rolls.
Yep. So I'm doing it with the attack.
All right, let's do it. So we can get a 12. We absolutely did. Yeah, it's a solid hit. And
Couldn't have
guess what?
without
It was with hope yet again. So that gives you
I'll take it as a Slayer die.
gain a hope. So you can replace your Slayer die by all means. And
then,
you will strike this guy. So let's do some damage. And you said you're using your
short sword.
short sword. Okay.
It should have been with a +1. Like that.
Okay.
But it worked out.
Let's get that. Yeah,
And
it hit.
then,
You amply struck the guy.
It uses my agility score, so it would have also been with another +2. I'm just gonna write next to it. +3. There's
Okay.
not really a spot for the actual number. Okay.
No.
D8 +1. I think pull out the dice for that. For 7 damage.
Okay, 7. So, that basically puts it well over his minor, but one shy of his major.
Can I spend my bard die
What does your bard die
in
do?
my little rally? I get a
You certainly
+1
can, and
D6.
add that d6 to it. Yes, you can.
I like that we can just talk about it, and it's not like a fighting thing with the DM.
Yeah, mechanically, you absolutely can, because it's a very clear definition between what you're doing in game and what you're actually doing. Okay, so we're adding that, so that's actually 11, which puts you at the major threshold. So he's taking another 2 points of damage. Explain to me how you dispatch that individual as he lays there upon the ground, please.
He probably looks up, hearing as a sword is just rammed through him into the tree behind
Oh,
him.
way to die.
You could have listened.
Alrighty.
Pull the sword out.
You have dispatched that individual quite quickly and amicably. Anybody else wish to do anything this turn?
Yeah, I want to get a hit in on
Alright, what do you want to do?
this guy. I'm definitely going to be like, threat level detected, and then stomp up to this other one here in
All right.
front of my ward, and I'm going to strike him.
Yep,
With
no
my
problem going over
sword?
to him. Again, the distance is not anywhere that would require you to make an agility check. So
Okay. So here is my attack.
Ooh,
he goes.
good roll though.
Well, it's a solid hit, but that's with fear. Now,
Yeah.
so we're going to let your roll. We're going to let your roll happen. First of all, so roll your damage, and then I'm going to tell you what happened as well as that.
Okay. So here's my damage is a D8. There.
Are any
Nice.
pluses to that?
No, it says I get a +1 to the attack roll, but it seems
Okay.
like it didn't matter, so I didn't add that
Yeah.
in. But
It just says damage dice D8 on my
All right.
sheet here.
Well, that would do an additional point of damage to him, bringing it up to 3. Now, because you rolled with fear, I can take that fear, or I can use that fear immediately. And that's kind of what we're going to do here. So, you run over and bring your mighty sword down on this guy. The second your blade is about to strike him, almost as a skilled riposte, he lunges back with his blade, and he is going to retaliate immediately to you. So you hit him, but unfortunately, he's getting a free shot. So, what is your evasion number?
Evasion, you say? 5.
Okay. So to physically land the blow, he has to roll a 5 or higher. That's because you're a big, slow, clunking metal thing. Hitting you isn't difficult.
Okay.
Okay, a 9. So he will hit you. So now his damage. He's going to be rolling. And this guy has kind of like, let me see. Let me look at you real quick, sir. Nope, you just have the one weapon. Okay. All right, so he is going to strike you for 9. So, what you're going to do is you will be looking at your hit point thresholds, and depends on where 9 sits is how much damage you will take. So obviously it's going to be above your minor. Is it above your major?
Not above my major, no.
Okay, which means it will do a point of damage.
Okay.
The total there that you're dealing with is 9. So hypothetically, you could use an armor use to reduce that number by whatever your armor value is. Or you could do 2 armor uses to reduce it by twice that number. Which would, no doubt, in this case, make it null and void. Or you can just take 1 hit point of damage.
Okay, so if I take 1 hit point of damage, I just put that in the hit point.
You just mark out a hit
column?
point, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But that's how the armor works. So you get to choose whether or not you want your armor to be damaged and apply, or whether you're really just going to say, hey, you know what? This one found a chink.
Okay, so I'll put it under armor use, I guess, and I'll mark that down.
But you didn't use one, so you don't have to.
I didn't
On the
have to use
sheet.
one?
No, you chose not to use your armor, right? You took the hit point.
No, I'm saying it. Well, for my character, it makes sense for me to use my armor up before hitting me, right? Rather than
If
going
you
to my
want
hit
to,
points. Yeah. I
So
feel like
you
that's
have
what-
armor uses 6, and your armor score. So what is your armor score?
My armor score is. There's actually nothing in that column. Just 6. It just says 0 out of 6.
So your score is 6, as well as your
Yes.
uses is 6? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, basically, so you can reduce the damage by 6 points if you spend 1 armor usage. That wouldn't really help you because it would still be above your minor threshold.
Oh, I see what
So
you're
you'd
saying.
have to
Okay.
burn 2 if you
out
wanted
of the
to.
whole 9 I'm trying to
Correct.
subtract from.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes, then I will just take the 1 hit point.
There you
Yes,
go.
Okay.
Makes
Got
sense.
Dusty, what does your get behind me do that you used? Does that help with anything here?
Not for
her.
me. It's for protecting
Okay,
someone
Most of her
else.
stuff
Cool. Just didn't know
revolves
if it, like,
around
bolstered you
saving your
somehow.
ass.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured I
could
should
I
know if-
argue? I could. See, I always see it coming, and I knew he was going to hit me.
Yeah,
I don't
that would
know
be
if that was
wild.
anything. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so got it. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. And so that puts the fear. No, that doesn't change the fear token because we're still. That was so. What happened there is basically, I just used your fear dice immediately. Now because you rolled with fear, now it moves over to the DM's turn. So I have 4 actions. So to activate a creature or a monster costs me an action. I'm going to burn 2 of these immediately. And I'm going to use that to have these guys rush into the fray, but they're not going to be able to get close enough to attack you necessarily. However, nope, that is all we're going to do this turn. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy on the map just because you guys all know he's here with the dog. So I'm going to put him there so that you know he's there, but he's not doing anything. That is all I'm actually going to do this turn. So I'm going to pass it back to you guys. Now, I could, just for the narration, I could have allowed one of them to make an agility skill roll to try to get close enough and get into melee. But we're not doing that because they have other things that they can try to do. So at this point, I'm still on 5 fear, but the action tracker is down to 2. But now I'm passing it back to you guys as players, so you can all choose to react again. In any order you feel.
I'm going. I see the other two run up, and all of a sudden you see, you know how I'm kind of turtled up. All of a sudden you see these 4 legs come back out, and the shell explode and shatter, and you see this crocodile come out, and suddenly I'm a crocodile.
Oh, okay.
And then I charge.
Whoa.
I charge one of the guys.
Let me.
Your shell explodes.
Hey, I like that.
Explodes. Yeah.
Give me just a second here.
Sure.
And
that takes 1 stress for doing a beast form. Whatever stress is.
there you go. Okay, so now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to zoom this in a little bit so everybody can see a little clearer. But what we're going to do is we are going to also move
Action tracker was a gelatinous cube all along? Gotta look out for that.
actually, let me move it a little bit over and a little bit higher since we got a corpse there. I want to move it to the... There we go. And then that way I can keep that in full visibility while having everything just a wee bit closer. Okay, so here is Oshara the crocodile. So you utilized your ability. Okay.
Yeah. I beast formed and I will attack the closest enemy to me that has come our way.
Okay, so that is basically an action. So you use an action to do that. And so in the form of your pack predator, you get +2 strength, an armor score of 4, and you do D8 physical damage.
Okay.
Now, you can also take advantage on an attack, sprint, or track. So if you choose to, you can roll with advantage on your attack roll.
Will do.
Okay.
So I'll roll the one that's 3 dice then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're gonna roll, you're gonna roll 2 hope dice for this roll.
Okay.
And you get to pick the higher of the 2. Yeah, that's probably quite a dramatic thing to suddenly, like, the shell
Oh my god.
thematically bursts.
Oh no!
So
Yucky.
bad.
Jen, no!
You still have that D6?
Yeah, I would. If it can make a difference, I want to use that.
It can, because you need a 12.
I need 12. Great. I'm going to use it 1d6 here.
Come on, come on.
Slightly in your face.
And you also rolled with,
6!
There you go.
okay.
Yay!
So the good news is you did hit.
With fear.
With fear. So let's go ahead and do the hit. So you struck him, so you're going to be doing D8 physical damage.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, you got him one.
Oh no.
Oh, Jane, you and I are
Attack
not having a
really,
good one.
even though I'm in crocodile form, I attack really slowly and just like.
Realizes it didn't put its teeth in and it just gummed the guy. Okay.
And then you hear, "Oh, nuts!"
You're here. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. Because you roll with fear.
Nuts.
Even though I've only got 3 action trackers, I'm going to go ahead and use my abilities, and kind of show you how this kind of works. So these two, this one's gonna come up here next to this guy. And because of the short distance, he can make that move, and I'm going to use one of his attacks, or one of the actions, as an attack, but I'm also going to burn a fear to activate a special ability that he has. And that special ability is called Mob Tactics. If 2 or more thugs are fighting the same target in melee, which there are now 2 of them that are attacking our plant dude, I can spend a fear to allow them to tag team, just like you guys do. Which means they both get to roll at the same time, but we add the damage together. So what is your evasion score, please, Mr. Rickroll?
Beautiful evasion score is a 9.
Oh.
All right. So the first roll, that'll hit. And then the second roll just hits. Okay. So because of that fear, this damage, the damage now is a total combined damage. So instead of 2 small hits, you're going to be taking a much larger strike. And what does he have? Which one are you, my friend? You also only have 1 weapon, so that's cool. Okay, so you will take from that strike 14 total. So here's kind of what happens. Basically, the guy runs up, dives up kind of from your flank, and goes, "Now!" And as he screams out, he swings in really low. The other guy swings in kind of high, leaving you nowhere to duck, nowhere to dodge, as they simultaneously strike you both at the same time with their clubs. So 14. You're going to look at your thresholds.
So 14 is exactly my severe.
Okay. So that would take 3 hit points of damage, which is quite a bit, unless you reduce that with armor.
Right. So if I spend... My armor score is 3.
So if you spend 1, it will drop it down.
It'll drop it down.
Yeah.
And at most, I could only use 2. 2 armor.
You can use as many as you have available. But bear in mind, you've got to repair that armor before it gets used again.
Right.
Which you have to either do partially during a short rest, or completely during a long rest.
So if my armor score is 3, and I use 3 uses, my armor score goes to 0, because I use 3 uses of it?
No, your armor score doesn't change.
My armor score still is the same, it just...
Correct. The armor usage go down. So you have 6 uses total, without repairing it.
Tokens, yeah.
So for every one of those uses, if your armor score is 3, you will reduce the damage by 3.
Okay.
I mean,
you've taken 14, so it would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's going to take 5 to make that no damage.
Yeah, I'm okay with taking some damage here. So I'm going to use 1 armor use to bring it down to my major.
Alright, so you only take 2 hit points worth of damage.
So I only take 2 hit points.
1 of your armor uses.
Got it. Okay.
Wait, can I do something?
Maybe.
Sorry. Yeah, I can. I am your shield. You, when an ally very close to you is going to take damage, you may mark stress to stand in its way and take the damage instead.
You absolutely can do that.
Reduce the damage by a value equal to...
I'm now your friend? I was bullying you earlier.
Well, I don't know that. I'm a robot.
He's a robot.
He's a robot.
Okay.
So
yeah, you can mark a stress to make that happen.
Okay. And then that gives you what reduction?
Whatever, I think it says whatever your armor score is, doesn't it?
Reduce the damage by a value equal to your strength trait.
Oh, strength trait, okay.
The damage by spending armor slots. So my strength trait
is 1 or 2.
A +1?
So you could reduce it by a further 1 by default, but you can use some of your armor uses to absorb some of it for him if you wish.
So, if you reduce it by 1,
Yeah.
I'm still in the major, so I just don't use my own armor. I mean, it would still.
So she would have
help
to
me.
use 2 plus the +1 to get it down to minor. Is that what you're saying?
Well, so my threshold is 1 minor, 6 major, 14 severe.
So you've got to get it below 6.
Right.
So you've brought it down to 11.
Correct. With my expenditure, yes.
So you would have to use, arguably, you get +1, so you've got to get it down to 1 for him to take no damage, or he takes 2 damage regardless. So as it stands right now, you can certainly do that, but it's not going to really help
make a difference here. Okay, then
not unless you're kind of going to go all in.
I appreciate it.
I want to make sure I use the mechanics of
no,
my
absolutely, and
character.
that's the cool thing about it is like there are times when that will have made a difference. There are times when it won't make a difference, and you'll learn like as we play through. It's like, well, if I get involved here, I've only got to spend 1 armor slot to kind of shield you from the majority of this damage.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry. Take it.
But that doesn't take an action for you to do that. It's kind of like a reaction if you want to put it in D&D terms. It just happens.
Gotcha.
Okay. Alrighty. Then I still have 2 actions on the tracker. So we're going to burn one of those to let this guy attack the crocodile. Because he doesn't want to get eaten by a very large crocodile. What does he have? She just has a blade. Okay. So make the dice roll. And what is your 19? I don't think it's going to matter. But what is the evasion? You would have whatever your evasion is. As a crocodile, you get +1, Ashara. So what would your total evasion be?
My total evasion
is whatever you have on your sheet +1.
Will be 9.
Okay, which is actually a pretty good evasion, but a 19 is still going to hit. Alrighty, so as you kind of run in and snap at him, he kind of leans back and then, just out of pure blind instinct and fear, just lunges forward, swiping wildly in the air with his cutlass, and he will strike you for a total of 9 points of damage. Your armor score in croc form is a 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what is your damage thresholds?
It hits the major, but not the severe.
Okay, so you can use armor points if you wish. Each one will get you 4. If you can bring that down below major, so that it's at least 1 point below major, you will only take 1 point. Otherwise, you'll take 2 hit points of damage.
I will use 1 armor to reduce it down.
Okay.
Major 7.
All right. So, yep, you'll do that. And that will bring it down. So you will only take 1 hit point of damage, and you'll mark off an armor.
Okay. Got it.
So at this point, this is where I'm going to use my last action on the action tracker. This guy up here, seeing that things are not going well for his friends at all, he is going to try to sneak off out of this fray. But before doing so, he sings, you hear him yell, "Second boy!" And he lets go the rope, and the dog is taking an action and charging forward, bounding towards you. And he is going to slink away out from the trees. And that puts the action tracker back to 0. And I'm done at that point. So back to you guys. So you've got 2 of them like wailing on top of you there, Rickroll.
So Gore, I got a question.
Yeah.
I have 2 spells. I have ice spikes,
Okay.
which is up to very far damage. It is 1d6 ice damage.
Yep.
Why wouldn't I just use like power push again, which is a 1d8 or a 1d10? Like, what's the difference of because it's range?
A, it's the range that it can hit something, and B, the fact that it's ice may have.
Okay.
But also
Sure.
bear in mind, it's all about the narrative, so you can kind of utilize the ice in a narrative sense. And if logically ice would hurt a thing more than being pushed, that may play into it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because things have resistance to stuff, just like
Sure.
in anything else. So,
Well, I mean, I think I see 2 dudes wailing on my new, like one of my new best friends here.
right?
So I'm gonna skirt over to the side and use the force push again. I mean, these guys are melee units. And
Get
I think
away
it's
from
just
us!
Yeah, I think it's just the best thing to use at this moment.
Hey, it is by far your most powerful.
You do get them out of our range.
Well, yeah, but like I don't want them double. I'm seeing that they are wailing on my friend.
Okay, just
Yeah.
You can also, hey, guess what? You can also move. Hey, Z, you can move. You can move.
we don't have that dynamic as players. You
So-
can't touch it that way.
Well, but here's the other thing. Don't ever, as I said, and I'm prompting you just because it's new. You could tag team. For example, you could say something along the lines of, and I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but as an example, you could say to Z, I'm going to push this guy, batter up. And then you hit him, and Z belts him with the sword at the same time.
Oh,
That's a tag team event. That's anytime
Okay.
you guys want a tag team. The only rule is only
I guess I wasn't sure what that
yeah,
mechanic
a
was.
player
Okay.
can only instigate one tag team roll per session. You can participate in as many as there are. So it would mean one of you
Well-
spends a hope to activate it, and then you collaboratively tell me, here's how we're tag teaming to make this happen. And then we run with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we got 20 minutes left of the session, so we're using one of those. So I'm gonna run up. So I would run up next to Z because they are a more familiar character to me.
Yep.
And I would look up at Z and say, Z, activate Adios Protocol. And I would initiate a hope move, and I would use my force push.
Okay.
And as Z goes and winds up to deliver an attack as I do so at the same time.
All right. So here's how this works. So both of you roll to hit.
Okay.
And if you both hit, then Matt will combine your damage with his damage to impact this, to actually with the impact roll. So it'll be the impact spell, but it'll be enhanced by what you do. And because it's Matt's tag team, Matt gets the hope if it's a hope success. So Matt gets a success with fear, so that's not a problem.
Okay, now I can roll.
And now you can roll, yep.
Okay.
And you crit!
Success.
The doubles are crits. That's right.
Crits.
Yes.
So
Mega
basically, Matt, you get a hope. Because
Okay.
it's crit and it's your action.
Nice.
Or you can
so
clear
I don't
stress.
expend one.
So
I don't have a stress, so I'll just keep the
So
hope where
here's
it
how
is.
crits work. So first of all, Matt, you're going to roll your damage for your push.
Okay, that's a D10.
One of the things I love about how this system works. Yep.
So here's something cool, Gore, and I might use it here. But hold on.
Yep.
This is a new thing I have. I have powerful,
You do.
which means I get to re-roll a damage dice of my choice.
There you
That
go.
one.
I reckon it's
I'm
that
gonna
one,
re-roll
huh?
that damage dice and turn
Yeah.
a 1 into a
Okay.
2, baby.
But with a
Did you
crit.
use your D6 yet?
You still have a
Crit.
D6 if you want to
I'm
use
going
it.
to use my D6 there.
Okay.
And we get a...
Oh
So we're on to 3. All right. So Christy, now roll
You almost
your
doubled
damage.
every time.
Okay.
I say with a crit, don't you get the maximum amount of damage?
Oh, we
you can
we
do
haven't
on
got
top?
there yet, and it's more than
That's
that. It's
amazing,
more than
yeah.
just the maximum.
Okay, I do
Ooh.
have something I want to use too, but I don't know how that gets activated.
Okay. What do you have?
The whirlwind, because was my hit
Oh.
successful?
Your hit was successful, so you can indeed whirlwind attack.
But I need to roll the
yes.
damage first and then apply that to everyone else.
Yeah, so basically what'll happen is the one that you're tag teaming is going to take all the damage, but the guy that is over here, does it say close or melee?
Let me check,
It's
let me check.
very close or melee.
Okay, so that
Yeah.
would be very close. So he will take half the damage that you do.
Okay. All right, so
It's
here's
gonna
my
go over
damage.
my head,
Rounded
isn't
up.
it?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
As you roll that, Christy, go for my powerful thing that I have. Does that cost a hope to activate?
Does it say that it does?
I don't believe so, but I just that's why I wanted
little
to.
insignia
double-
on
It just
the
says
card.
feature power. Roll 1 extra damage die and drop the lowest
And where is the feature?
under active
the
weapons.
feature is your subclass. Right? Oh no, yes, that's on the weapon itself, right?
yes.
No, that costs you nothing. That
Perfect.
You get that for free.
Just want to make
every
sure.
roll.
Okay.
Just want to make sure
So
I
you
wasn't.
can use that anytime, but if you roll again, so technically you can always roll 2d6 for damage.
Yeah,
and always take the higher.
take the highest. Okay, cool, sweet.
All right,
Okay,
so here's my damage.
Okay, so you
Gosh,
get
dang.
3.
I'm gonna add my d6 to that.
Okay.
Good
Yeah,
move.
yeah, it was
Any
useful
pluses to
too.
damage?
Yeah.
Hey, there we
so
go.
we've done. So we had 6 from
11.
Gerbert.
Are you adding your
An
your
8.
ability mod there?
Yeah, you add your if strength is your thing or
Oh, and
whatever.
then mine should be up to 1 as
Oh.
well, Gore. For
Oh, okay. Sorry. My
whatever
bad, I
that I.
should've said-
No, that's okay. I
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
need
what?
to learn.
What do I add to it?
Whatever the weapon.
The trait on
Trait
your, on your
is.
weapon.
Oh no, Gore, add 2. My knowledge is +2.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
See,
So
then,
mine,
yeah.
so mine's 5 total.
you did 5.
plus
Yeah.
2.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it needs like a little box next to it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
kind of just
sorry,
whatever it says, basically whatever stat it is, you apply that stat.
Okay,
to
so
the
that's what the
damage.
trait means, is adding
Yes,
that to
that
my damage
stat.
dice.
That's
Okay,
fine.
so that's a plus
Yeah,
2
it's
then.
both your attack.
So
my own damage, my own +2 to mine, but that's
so what was your total, Matt?
My total was 1, 2, 3, 5 total.
So you did 5. Okay.
Yes.
And then Crispy, you hit for 5 plus 2, so you hit for 7.
Mhm.
They're up to 12.
Okay.
But now, because you crit, we take the highest possible damage you could have rolled and add it.
Oh,
So
Ooh.
you rolled a d6, right?
yeah.
For damage?
A d8 for damage, and then the dx was my little.
Oh,
rally.
so 8. So the d8 is a bonus 8. So you're going to
Oh.
add 8 to that
And
total.
whatever the strength is, or is it? Or is it just with the
No,
dice?
you just add the total dice, whatever the dice are. You get a free max dice, basically.
Okay.
Incidentally,
Okay.
however, though, if your proficiency, when it goes up, go to the number of
Oh.
crit dice maximums that you
Ooh.
add. So you can end up being seriously nasty with crits. Okay.
Okay.
So we made a bit of a hash trying to figure those numbers out, and that was mostly my fault. So total we had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 plus 8. So you actually did 22 points of damage. Okay.
Damn.
Now
And he gets pushed.
so he gets
Whirlwind.
pushed. He'll basically end up all the way over here, getting blasted clear out of the range, like Hadouken! Now, Crispy crit with whirlwind attack. So the total damage you did, half of that goes to this guy.
Yes. It's
So-
everybody in the range of the weapon. Does
Right.
that?
Every enemy within the range
Yeah.
of the weapon,
Yeah, please.
technically.
Please.
No, I know enemy. Sorry.
So he's gonna take. He's gonna get 2 wounds as well. And this poor guy took 3, which is all he had. So he goes flying through the air, like blasted off his feet, hurtles through the air, and kind of when he hits the ground, he kind of falls head over heels, landed badly. You heard like a last minute, ah! as he kind of like lays on the ground, you notice that human limbs shouldn't face that way, and his head certainly shouldn't be pointing at his back, as he is absolutely decimated and killed by that blow. So that's how tag teams work.
Okay.
They can result in incredibly fun stuff.
All right.
And you guys, other than adding 1 point to the action tracker, you're still in control here. Actually, yes, you are.
There was a one World with Fear, right?
Yes, but
Within a tag team.
Matt.
Then the tag team, right?
Matt's role. I can't remember if Matt's role was with Fear or not.
It was.
It was okay.
Yeah.
In which case, yes. So I would have the opportunity to take this over then, or I can take the Fear. So yeah, I've got Fear. So I'm going to utilize this. So what we're going to do, and again, more for mechanics, I'm going to spend this point on the action tracker and have Fido dive into the fray. Fido was just told to attack. He is going to go for probably one of the first things that is a logical target for him. There's an enemy between him and Rick Roll. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to roll a d6. And on a 1 or a 2, he'll dive at Gerbert. A 1 or a 2, he'll dive at Z. 3 or a 4, he'll dive at Gerbert. And 5 or a 6, he'll go for Harangue. So let's just see what occurs with that. And we'll let fate decide. 3. Okay, so Fido comes diving through the air, teeth first, towards poor Gerbert. Again, Z has abilities to help reduce damage if she chooses to. But, so first we're going to make the attack roll for the dog. What is your evasion score?
Yes. It is a whopping 8.
Okay. He will manage to hit you.
Yep.
Now, I am going to spend a fear.
Okay.
To activate a special ability, which only happens if he hits.
Okay.
And that's called Latch On.
Oh.
If the dog makes a successful bite, he can spend a fear to latch onto its target. You are considered vulnerable until you either break free, which is a strength 15 check for you personally, or somebody else assists in getting that thing off of you. But damage-wise...
Would this be a get behind me situation?
It could be.
Right? Because I'm not going to let this thing just, like, chomp on my baby boy.
So, if you use your experience, get behind me, that's... Your experience is what, a 2? Is that a +1 or a +2?
It's a +2.
So you could activate that, and then add it to your ability to, like, absorb. So you've got experiences, but you've also got your abilities. So one of your abilities is to get in the way and take damage for him.
Yes.
But you could use Get Behind Me to give you 2 additional armor points if you do so.
Okay, so that would be my shield. Is that what you're...
Yeah, basically you could put your shield in the way. But it's because of your experience. The damage total will only be 4, so that's 2. Matt, so Gerbert can spend armor to reduce that down. 2 armor would make it, because you only have 2 armor, right?
Where's my armor?
The armor score.
Yes. I have 2 armor, correct.
Because you're only wearing leather. So
yes.
You could spend 2 to bring that down to nothing. Or you could spend 1, and logically, if Z wants to, Z can mark a stress to get in the way for you. And this is where the kind of logic of narration comes in, right? So, if Z does that, there's no reason for Z to do it, and you mark off 2 points of armor. So what can happen is Z can choose to do that. So Z can activate that ability to absorb that damage for you, which is the one that basically she was going to use on Shagget. Same thing. And she can reduce it by 1 anyway. But if Z burns an armor, she'll only have to drop... she'll get 2 if she uses that. If she basically spends a hope to use her experience points. So you have choices here. You can spend a hope to use your experience, and then if you use your ability, that would reduce it by 3, which would mean he takes 1 damage.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have to burn any armor, and neither would you.
Yeah, I think that's narratively what.
Yeah, I mean, it's logical, right? So, so the ability that lets you jump in the way,
Yes.
does it have a cost? Just a
That is
stress,
the
right?
I am your shield.
Yeah.
Yes, you mark a stress.
Okay, so you're going to
Yeah.
mark a stress to use that,
Okay.
but you can either then choose to mark an armor point and reduce it that way, or spend a hope and bring your experience into play and reduce it further and reduce it that way. Either which way is up to you, which way you want to go.
I've only got 1 hope left,
So probably reduce a stress then.
so I should just.
Burn a stress.
You
Yeah.
mean an armor use?
So if you use this, if you use stress, if you
Sorry, I thought I already. So I used a stress to do
right,
it.
so you've already
and now
done
I'm using a
that.
stress
So
to
now, no, you so
reduce the
you've
damage
taken
down.
that path. So now, on top of that, if you burn 1 armor use, you'll reduce it to 0. Or instead of doing that, you could have used your experience to reduce it down some points, but it wouldn't have done enough. So the armor use is the way to go.
Okay, so I will take the armor
Yep.
use then.
He could have done. You could have done that, and he would have taken 1 damage, or he could have burned an armor and taken no damage. So you had a couple of choices there.
Okay, gotcha.
But either way,
For
that
RP's
works.
sake, I was like, get behind me.
Yeah, and that makes
I
perfect
will
sense. So yeah.
take the
So
battering.
basically, as the dog leaps forward, you're going to kind of grab him and pull him behind, and that the dog will slam into that shield instead, like, and you're just like holding the thing back while one hand is like pushing him out of the way, and the shield is protecting and guarding both of you. Alrighty.
How would the grapple, the fear special you did with the dog now work? Since it
it's
was kind
nullified.
of blocked.
It's nullified
Okay.
because it didn't actually successfully do any damage.
Okay.
I could technically say it slashed onto the shield, but that narratively doesn't make much sense. I don't think a dog would.
Yeah,
bite-
and that would make Clank vulnerable.
No, exactly.
It's on
Clank-
the shield. Got it.
So narratively, what we could do is say it's latched onto the shield. You can't use your shield unless you get the dog off of it. And Clank could then say, "I'm going to throw the shield to the ground."
Right.
Whatever. But we're not going to worry about that right now because it's
Right.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's narratively necessary. So that's all I'm going to do. So back to you guys. You've got. He's dead. We'll get rid of him.
I'm an alligator and I want to attack.
Yeah.
Do
I
it.
was gonna say,
Crocodile.
before you
Run
attack,
away.
I'd like to run over there and swing
Okay.
at him if that's okay.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
'Cause I now have no longer anything to worry about.
He's dead.
And
Please
So-
do.
Yeah, I mean,
Thinking-
again, actions technically don't have to happen like in order. They're all kind of simultaneous. So
I'm
yeah.
thinking he's just thinking like looking around like, oh, that guy's gone, the other guy's dead.
Yeah.
I'm not getting through the dog to get to this guy, but there was a guy over here, so I'm gonna turn around and just like,
So yeah, by all means, you can make an
and then I'm
attack
gonna
now.
see an alligator and be like, whoa!
Just yeah. So narratively, you're going to run over an attack, and the alligator is just going to attack. So
Well, crocodile, I messed up.
crocodile. Okay, so
Very important.
you tell me
Don't
who
mess
goes
up.
first. Does the crocodile wait
reptile,
for you to
she's
get
gonna.
there, or does the reptile just bite while it has a chance?
I will if I see him coming. I'm gonna let him.
Okay,
Knowing
there you go. So in that
Thank you.
case, yes, let's
Thanks.
have Harang go ahead and make first attack. Game DC 12. Move my dog.
I
Gonna
will
pet that
be
dog.
using my Slayer dice.
Okay.
There. Get a +3 total, because I get my +2 agility and my +1 rely.
Uh-huh. Oh!
Oh, it's a critical.
That's a crit.
Ooh.
Nice.
Nice.
Snake
So
eyes.
you gain a hope and can clear a stress.
I'll put that right back on
And
the
you absolutely hit. So we'll put 1 back on the tracker. And so you're going to roll damage like you would do normally, but then whatever your damage dice is, add the maximum that dice can apply on top of it.
So we apply the trait to our damage as well. Right?
Correct. The last thing you do is add the extra damage dice. So the normal roll plus all the pluses go first, then you add your bonus damage dice on
So
top
it's
of their
1d8
maximum.
+3.
Yep. And then you're going to add 8 to that. So it's actually 1d8 plus 11. Ooh, nice. So that's 18.
Yeah.
18 is his severe. He was down a couple of wounds already. Yeah, how are you taking this guy out of action?
I imagine I ran forward, saw the crocodile, freaked out a little bit, tried to stop, slipped, kicked him in the head just a little bit, tripping over him, and as I tried to catch my balance, the sword just kind of went into his face. And then I go,
Okay. You guys still have the initiative. So, Ashara, the thing you were about to bite is now kind of all pokey and bleedy and deady.
Yeah.
And you're not threatened by anything. So if you wish to croc shuffle over to either this
Every
dude
day
or the dog,
shuffle
you
and-
can.
I'm definitely shuffling.
Say it like an old man, though.
Hey, I'm shuffling.
Every day I'm shuffling.
Yeah. That's just, I think, is that person right there.
you know, doing my daily shuffle.
Okay. All right. So you need a 12, and you're
That's
attacking
okay.
with strength. So your duality dice +2. And
So
again,
do-
you can
that's
take
okay.
advantage. So if you want, you can roll the 2 deep.
Is there a reason I wouldn't take it with advantage?
No.
Is it costing me anything?
It's not well, and not unless it says that it does.
Didn't say that. So.
Um,
Whoa. What?
let me look.
Oh.
Let me double check Druid, and I don't believe because I think the cost was to turn into it, right?
Yeah. Well.
Nope,
I
that's
got-
it. Take advantage. So
Yeah.
you don't have to spend anything. It's just it's a byproduct of being a crocodile. You're good at biting shit. All right.
Is that plus or strength too?
What
You'll be
the-
adding +2 to that 4.
Oh, 6.
Alrighty, and okie dokie, 6 points of damage. I didn't see your to hit roll. Disappeared. You rolled too fast.
It
So
was 23 and fear was higher.
okay, so you did roll with fear. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, it's a solid hit. So now you're gonna roll your damage, which is D8 +2.
6.
All right, so 6 points of damage. That is not enough to get to this down. Second. Why can't I grab this? I need to open it bigger so I can grab it. And there we go. All right. So a 6, that's going to do on him. That's going to do a wound. Alrighty. But you rolled with fear, didn't you? So I am not going to take that fear. I'm instead going to use it immediately for him to retaliate and lunge back at you. And he will hit, doing see. Yes. All right. So, yeah, you dive up there and snap at him. Your teeth kind of graze down his arm. Like, instinctively, he pushes his arm out, like, out to kind of fend you off, which is a stupid thing to do against a crocodile, but hey, it's instinct. And then, as you kind of, like, partially latch onto his arm, he uses this momentum and stabs down with his blade at the same time, and will deal 3 points of damage to you, which will do either 1 point of damage, or if you spend an armor, it'll do no damage.
I will spend an armor, yes.
All right. Okay. So you are going to burn an armor, and then I'm going to spend this point on the action tracker to activate my dog.
Activate dog.
Activate dog.
Can I pet that dog?
Activate that dog.
All right.
That dog.
And the dog is not overly intelligent. I don't think it would truly... An intelligent person might think, why am I attacking a tin can? But I don't think the dog is going to think that. So we're going to roll... This time around, it'll be 1, 2 will be Rick. 3, 4, once again, will be Ashara and... I mean, not Ashara, Z. And then a 5 or 6, Gerbert. So let's have a look and see at this point what the dice wants to do, or what the dog wants to do. Okay, so this time the dog decides it's going to help out its buddy. And I'm going to spend a fear to activate a different ability.
Yeah, of course.
Tactics.
Hobbling Strike. Actually, technically I should roll to see if I hit you first. But what is your
It's 9.
evasion? 9?
Well, he might miss.
He might. So, and he does miss.
Hey.
So I wouldn't be spending that fear because he would have to hit first. I was jumping the gun. But what that would have done is he would have done 2d6 physical damage, but you would have been considered vulnerable until you regain at least 1 hit point. Because basically it's like hamstrings you. Gets hold of the Achilles and bites down hard. There's really nothing else much that I've got that I want to do. I can. If there was... like, I can do things, so... You know what? Again, just for mechanics. So here's what I'm going to do. One of the DM moves I have, I can burn 2 fear to get another action to basically trade them in for an action token. So we're going to do that, which puts 1. So my fear dice is down to 1, but it does give me a 1 on the action token, so I'm going to use that action. And I'm going to have that dog bite you again.
Oh.
Well, that's just fucking rude.
Yeah, that is kind of rude.
This system does give the DM a lot of power over who to kill immediately.
It does if you choose to, but that's the whole point of it being narrative. But you also notice when there are no actions for me to use, I can't do a whole lot. And I've got to burn valuable fear to do anything with it. But I also know that he's hardly hurt, so, you know.
Well, that's exactly it.
It will just hit you. Normal strike of 2d6 from bitey physical teeth. So that'll be an 8 hit. See, much like you guys can gang up on a thing and hit it and hit it and hit it, technically they can as well. But I only get to do it as long as you fuel my fire for me.
I am going to use an armor use.
Okay.
To bring that 8 below my major, so it's just a minor, so I only take 1 wound.
There you go.
And now I'm not happy.
But that is me done. So it is back to you. You have 1 dog and 1 bandit.
So I am going to use a spell.
Okay.
From the Book of Idiots. Arcane Barrage, which is basically magic missiles. Once per short rest, Use an action to spend any number of hope and shoot magical projectiles that automatically strike an enemy within close range. Roll d6 equal to the hope you spent.
Okay.
And deal that much direct magic damage.
All right.
In my instance, they're going to be... The magical projectiles are going to be words. And they're going to be shooting out of my mouth at this mother pricker over here.
So do they, like, form into those words, like, physically, like, magically in the air?
Yeah, they coalesce around my mouth as I do some mystical hand gestures. And I am literally going to say, to sleep, to die, goodbye. And I'm going to spend all 3 of my hope
Oh, wow. Okay.
to deal 3d6 damage automatically to this bitch.
You don't have to roll to hit?
Oh, rude.
Nope, it's automatic.
Love it.
Magic missile.
It is
Ooh, nice.
Magic Missile, Arcane Barrage.
All right. 12 points of damage. And you're doing that to the dog or the dude?
This dude.
Okay. That's a major, which does 2 wounds to him. He has no way of reducing it, so he's looking pretty rough. Okay. The dog is a dog, and he is not the owner. But at this point, he is going to drop to the ground and beg for mercy.
Oh.
And so he basically drops to his knees. He's like, "Don't kill me! I just work with these fellas. They drug me along. I had no idea what we were doing." But I'm not taking an action. It's just speech. You can continue to do whatever you guys want to do.
By the way, Gord, that was an action, even though...
Yeah, so it's an action. Yeah, anytime the dice are rolled, it's an action. So that puts an action on the token. But there's no hope and no fear, because there's no duality dice rolled. So that's the kind of pros and cons of that spell, is it's guarantees that it doesn't do anything bad, but it makes it to where you can't really do anything super cool either. It's kind of that trade-off.
I mean, there is something I would do, but I want other people to do things too, so...
Well, hey.
If you have something, do it. I'm just gonna keep hacking.
I'm gonna try and tag team with the alligator here.
Okay. So you're going to instigate a tag team, so you are going to spend a hope.
Let's hear it.
I would like to run atop of the body, being light and nimble and monkey-like, and basically launch myself forward off the body in a tackling gesture towards the guy.
So you want, like, the alligator maybe tail flicks you?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Launch ya.
Send me flying, and I'm
Off
just
your little
like
chops.
holding the sword, like, okay, skewer him.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. So spend your hope. And arguably, we can say one of two things. Either the extra force that is generated by the alligator will convert to damage for you, or while you're distracting the guy up top, the alligator tries to put a sneaky chomp in on the legs. So either way, it's down to you guys to narrate it, which way you want it to happen, or however the damage happens. But both of you will make attack rolls, so you will go first, Hurang, because it's your attack.
And this is on the guy who's trying to, like, surrender?
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
Just making
he
sure.
is considered vulnerable because I specified he dropped down to his knees. So you have advantage on this to hit roll. This doesn't bode well for this poor guy, it really doesn't. He drops down to his knees, gets rather on the close business end of the alligator, and a flying monkey is now hurtling towards him, weapon first. Oh, fuck! So advantage on your to hit roll, so you will roll with the two white d12s, 2 hook dice. Okay, so it is a roll with fear, but it is a hit.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm just taking point of fear. Not going to use it for anything. Just collect
Spiral into his face hole.
it. So now you roll your damage.
Okay. I should add
Actually, no.
modifiers.
Before you roll your damage, Ashara needs to make her to hit roll.
Okay.
Which is an
Ow.
8. So that won't actually hit. So you're not going to get to add anything to this roll.
Okay.
Unfortunately. But it is still a solid blow from our simian friend. So now, Harang, do your damage.
keep losing track of how the damage.
Whatever your weapon is, that's a good thing. It should all be listed on the weapon.
So damage die, which is apparently 3. And
Yeah.
oh wait, no, that's what it was. Combat training. Always add additional level when attacked, so I get another 1. So it's 1d8 plus 4.
Okay. So 7. All right.
Can I please
Well,
spend my Slayer roll. I just want to kill this guy.
yeah, absolutely. Burn it.
Please.
For an additional. So that's 11 total, right? Alrighty.
The alligator's back.
Well, the good news is 11 is a major wound, which does 2 wounds, and that's how many he had. So how do you kill the final dude?
Yeah, he's begging, he's bleeding, and spiraling monkey off the tail. It's like flying up there with the sword in a ridiculous move. He crumples to the ground under the weight of an entire monkey man flung into his face. I land on the ground going, "Did he say something?"
And he is deceased and ceased to be. Awesome. Okay. That will bring you to the end of that combat. So, any remaining fear and hope, stay with us to the next session. But just because we can, we're not going to necessarily do it now because I know we're already past time. But this is where we still have a dog to deal with.
I could
Push him.
no, there is this push him. I could try a slumber action.
Okay.
Make a spellcast roll against a very close target. On a success, they fall into a deep sleep until they take damage. with
That
the DM
sounds like a
spells of fear.
good move.
Aw.
So I'm gonna try to put the poocher to sleep.
Okay.
Spellcast row presence.
The
So-
difficulty is a 12 still to hit the dog.
So spellcast with my presence. Well,
12
it
with
works.
fear. Well, the good news is I get a
But he
free
falls
fear. No, that's the bad news. Okay, no, we're not going to take the fear because this is going to be fun. Okay, so yeah, so tell us how your spell works.
So in this instance, he ruffles his tendrily hair, and a bunch of spores, kind of like dandruff, fly at the dog
Ew.
to put him in
Ew.
sleep spores. He's a fungal, guys. He has spores. So he dandruff spores on the guy very close to him. That's what he does.
Ew.
Okay.
Yeah, very,
Um,
very hygienic.
All right. So, but you roll with fear. So I'm not going to take that fear dice. Instead, I'm going to twist the narrative just a little bit. You're doing this, and a cloud of white dandruff drifts up into the air.
Yellow
Um,
dandruff.
Oh,
Yellow
no.
dandruff.
Oh, no.
Oh boy.
Being
No.
closest, probably to the dog in intent for the spell, like as you visualizing, I'm putting a dog to sleep, putting a dog to sleep. Some of that is going to drift down on little Harang here.
Yeah.
Harang,
Good.
you are going to give me a dice roll, and you're going to make a let's see, that would be. You have a choice. You can either try to dive out the way and use agility, or overcome it and use your presence. And what did you roll, Shagget?
14.
There's your difficulty.
I'm gonna go with my agility then.
Okay. So you're going to try to leap out of the dandruff cloud and avoid it landing on you.
Because at the end of my first time ever playing,
Good
I'm
luck.
going to spend my Call of the Slave or die. It's only for attacks and damage. Never mind, I can't do that.
Night night.
Just fall asleep, monkey man.
Fall asleep.
Night night.
It's gonna fall asleep.
Night-night.
I don't want to. I want to be annoying.
And just for the
I'm
record,
a monkey.
for the
Well, I
record,
How's
want
it
you to
feel?
sleep.
yeah, for the
My
record,
name is
I
literally
would not have
Shut
done
Up.
that. For the record, I would not have done that if you were still physically in danger, and I would not have done that if it had been some kind of seriously harmful effect. But narratively,
Makes sense. For
it sounds
yeah.
funny.
Hilarious. Yeah. Here it goes.
Narratively satisfying.
Just that.
Without
I
imposing any
plus
real
2.
harm. That's it.
Ah,
Oh,
You crit success!
crit success.
So amazingly,
Wow.
Immune
you
to
gain a
sleep.
hope and get to mark off a stress. So in a weird way, you were bathed in the translucent kind of feeling of tranquility, but instead of putting you to sleep, it's kind of like when you've got a kid that's ADHD. They kind of give them certain types of medicines that.
What's that like?
Imagine.
Right, I know, right?
Please
So
explain
you
what
give
it
those
is.
Adderall,
medicines
right?
to the
ADHD
wrong
is like.
person, and it affects differently. So yeah, instead of it kind of like numbing you down, it revitalizes you and like perks you up. I mean, you're pretty damn hyper anyway, and you're like, yeah, ready to go now. So yeah, you gain a hope and a fear. I mean, sorry, and a mark of stress, and the dog.
See? You're welcome.
Drops down to the ground, fast
Very
asleep.
nice, thank you.
And you're all able to just kind of like wander away from the dog and leave it, unless anybody wishes to dispatch the creature, in which case I will let you do so without any dice rolls.
No.
Okay.
Hey, Gerber.
Are you turning back into a turtle? Are you
I'm probably next time. Not yet.
yeah. Okay. Alrighty.
Ooh, okay, sorry. Hey, great job, Gig. Quick question though. Did that other guy say that he was like done and didn't want to fight anymore? Did I catch that before you just
Correct. He did surrender.
He
Yeah,
was too
okay.
slow.
Okay. I just if that's how we're gonna roll, I guess it's good to know
I
that.
thought that was the dog.
He was already airborne at the time.
It's the dog saying that.
Oh,
Gonna hurt the dog.
could you understand dogs?
Oh, I guess dogs don't usually speak. Like, we can pick up that sword over there.
Okay, I thought maybe it was something you could you hey, can you can you understand me? Can you talk to dogs? I'm looking at the crocodile on the ground here.
Yep, the Ashara can understand you if she chooses to just fine. She just, whether or not Ashara can or cannot speak back and how she does it is entirely up to, or entirely up to him.
Yeah.
Do your creatures have the ability to form words and do they speak, or is it more of like a mental delivery?
You
or...
just see the crocodile.
Perhaps I can be helpful in this if you want to communicate with the crocodile turtle man. If not,
Sure.
just let me know.
Yeah, sure. I guess so.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the crocodile and cast telepathy, which is the other spell in my book. You may open a line of mental communication with one target you can see. This connection lasts until you use this spell to connect with another creature.
Okay, so either way, you can definitely communicate with the.
So I'm gonna connect to
cracker.
Ashara and be like, "What's going on?" That's what you hear.
Hey, just hanging out.
I'm gonna turn to everybody, and be like, "He's just hanging out."
Oh, I mean, yeah, we could see that. But
Well, that's all he said to me.
did you ask any? Okay, did you ask more questions? Like,
Well, what do you want to ask? I mean, you can clearly understand, and I'll.
I mean, I
Really?
guess I don't know. I guess nothing. I don't.
A little bit bigger.
Oh, he's growing.
They're just kind of hanging. I guess I don't.
That's
I
what
don't
she
want to
said.
like. I don't want to like bother him. I guess. Like, are they stuck like that?
Be sure to loot the bodies.
Are you stuck like that, crocodile turtle man?
Yeah, do you want to loot the bodies?
I would like to loot the bodies if no one else is going to.
All right.
Nah.
Nah.
So, harangue?
Man, this crocodile is like
So
kind of
chill.
dope,
Oh,
huh?
one of them had like a short sword.
He
I'm
kinda
interested in
reminds
picking up
me
a second one.
of an animal that's like stoned or something, you know? I mean, a little.
Dude, what is this?
So yeah, one of them did have a short
Hi.
sword, and the others had maces.
Oh, under an influence of something.
And then there's the equivalent of a handful of gold that you can wrest from all of them
see.
combined, which you can. Technically, a handful is 10 if you care to count, but if not, it's a handful of gold.
Hey,
we don't
you
worry
see
too much
that?
about numbers.
You see the crocodile's legs go into its own body.
Oh God!
Ew.
Ooh, I love it! I love it!
And it explodes back out,
It's
and
like
then
a little crocodile torpedo.
I become
Little
a
Sherpa.
and then my shell kind of like magically reforms. So
Well, that's
Love it.
a sight to see.
it's pretty jarring, isn't it?
With something, all right.
Oh,
well
awesome.
played, everybody. Well played.
Well, that
What a-
will
what
bring
a
us to the
useful
end
creature.
of this show. Which I think we had got some good roleplay, had a nice introduction to combat. You guys are now understanding it a little bit more. Start of the next session, of course. Time is of the essence, but there's probably time to slip a short rest in there if you wanted to. But we'll deal with that next session. So, yeah, there we go. Welcome to Daggerheart. That's kind of where we're at. We're going to do a quick Q&A. Probably will be a few questions. But after that, we're out of here. And as I said, we should be playing this again on Thursday. The only difference is Thursday, different story, different group. So, there we go.
I mean, it is an interesting system. There's a lot to like.
Yeah.
It does. There's a little part where like interactions kind of overcomplicate things. There's a few times where my mind kind of went, talking about what reduces what and spending this to do that.
I think that's partially,
That's just
again, that's the
unfamiliarity,
newness, right?
You're
That's
learning.
Once we know the system.
Yeah,
It's a little
but it's
overwhelming
interesting.
at first, but
Yeah.
Already, because I've been playing with this for about 30 hours, like not playing, but reading books, reading the rules,
Sure.
messing with stuff, all that sort of thing. I've got a little bit better understanding of it, so it's a little clearer for me, but I can certainly see it's almost like, because it is so different, even though it's different in an easy way, it's still so different that you have to kind of think of it in a different way, right?
yeah, it's a whole other language
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, it's like you can't relate too much of it to D&D. Whereas most game systems, the mechanical things are all very, very similar. And I think that's the thing that attracted me to this was I'm a tabletop RPG fanatic. Every time a new game comes out, I look at it. I have more than I could ever be able to play. But this is the first one in a long time, in fact since the Cypher system, which was Numenera, that I've seen a game that actually said, hey, I'm not the same as all the others. I'm not just a different dice to get the same result. I actually have a different set of mechanics, and that's what really attracted me to it. So, yeah.
Love that. It feels flexible. Like, it's level 1, we have 2 cards in our hands, and like you can do so much with it.
Well, and I
was
think that's the
worried
thing.
Looking at the sheets, like there's not a lot you can do, but then there's just so much you can do with how open-ended everything.
And that is the beauty of it, is it doesn't bog you down with a ton of mechanics and a ton of mechanical choices, but it kind of says, do what the hell you want with what we give you. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, and just like the way you could see the way you can use a tag team tactic.
Yeah. No,
There's some epic narration that you could pull in. And bearing in mind, nothing says a successful tag team cannot be followed up by another tag team. So,
Okay.
if you really start, when you start to kind of truly think about what the possibilities are of what you guys can do, for the DM, it's a little different because I only get the resources you give me, and I have to manage those resources and decide what works, what doesn't. And that includes making sure I maintain enough fear to use certain special abilities if I want to, but I mean, if you guys just have a flurry of successes. You can have an awful lot, and unless I want to spend 2 fear and say, you know what, I'm coming in now, I'm stepping in, because that's what you can do that, but it's a cost of 2 fear. And fear is a valuable resource as a dungeon master in this, because it's what lets me do all those things that, you know, other than just having an attack stat and ability, all these things that have special abilities, like with the dog having Hobbling Strike and Latch On, they're fear charged, so I've got to have fear to use those things. But this first combat was designed to be very... Is it harmless? No, but let's be real. You know, it's... I had no fear that anyone was going to die in this first combat.
Sure. Yeah.
Last thing I would say is the lack of initiative is definitely something that I need to get used to.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to know, oh, it's not my turn. My turn's coming up after Satch, right?
Right.
But
like preparing.
I can absolutely see some tables being horrible with action and initiative.
So
some players being like, it's all about me, bitches, and just running the gamut. Like, I do this, then I do that, and it's like, shut the fuck up, let other people go. We don't have that problem here.
Right. And that's part of the thing, you know, as I said, it requires you, because it is a narrative game, it assumes a certain level of maturity from the players, a certain level of give and take, and working together by default. This, I feel, would be a harder game to play with random people that you met in a store, for example.
Oh, totally, yeah.
But the flip side of that, there's two ways. First of all, if your character is the character that hogs the limelight, let's say, and does a whole bunch of stuff, guess what? The NPCs see you as the threat, which means when the DM starts to dish out, who's he targeting? You, buddy boy.
That's true.
So there's a payoff
sense.
for that, you know. The flip side is there's an optional rule where no one player can use more than 3 actions before everybody else is gone. They only just introduced that because there were a lot of people immediately, because it is so different not to have an initiative and have a structured order. Immediately some people are like, oh, I don't know about this, blah, 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 blah. And instead of saying, well, try it, play it, see how it works, they were already on board. So they said, well, look, hey, you guys really want to have initiative. You can have initiative. If you want to roll duality dice and add your agility to create an initiative score and choose to go in that order, the problem though then, it's not always going to fit the narrative to do that. There's times when, well, I want to tag team with him, but he can't go yet because he's too. So do I have to hold my? It's not how the game is designed to work, right? So I can see some tables wanting to add a limitation. I can also see saying, hey, you got to let everybody else spend an action before you can spend another action, but you go in any order you want. So I can certainly see that there's going to be some homebrew things will come out of this. But for right now, while it's in beta, and it's being beta tested, the value is to do it their way, and then we can go back at the end of our playtest and say, hey, here's our feedback. And use that to help guide the game in the direction we feel it needs to go in. Whereas if you kind of arbitrarily make a decision based on something without really trying it out, it's not really, you know, it's not the way to beta test stuff. So, you know, but, yeah,
Another thing
definitely fun.
Because we're running a show, I think that adds like a bias to it. None of us want to steal the show from each other. We all want to share the game.
Yeah, you're all used to sharing the limelight
parts, right?
and letting everybody else
Like,
have their moment, right?
I think that dynamic kind of comes in play testing it right. So I think the system has a weird bias towards stream, which isn't a usual bias to think of. Like, I don't know, but like it's more geared for character acting heavy type or podcasting.
Critical Role itself.
Right. Yeah, it begs you to describe your actions. It begs you to say what happens and put some thought into it, as opposed to I attack, I hit, I do this damage. You know, it's really about pushing that narrative. And when you see things like the tag team and the freedom that you have with your abilities to say how they work, and the freedom you have with experiences to devise and get them to work in unison with your other stuff. It's interesting.
Oh.
Oh, Satch saying that you're cutting out a little bit. Satch,
No,
'cause you're really
I need to figure out a way to put a compression thing on my OBS
on your
so that
voice.
when yeah, no, because like the voice is louder than my usual.
Semarif had a
voice.
question. Said, "What were your weapons and armor types?"
Gerbert had leather armor and a staff.
Which never actually really got used, but that's an interesting concept there.
What's that? The staff?
The staff, yeah.
Well, isn't that what I was using to like hit them with and push them away?
If you choose it, because if you chose to do that, yes, because the spell
Okay.
can do it without the staff, right? But the
Gotcha.
staff can inherently make an attack at range,
Gotcha,
like a
gotcha,
magical
gotcha.
blast.
Okay.
You can like power up
Yeah.
the staff and be like. Pfft.
Hmm.
So, but again, through the narration, you're letting the staff be the instrument of your spell casting, which is all part of the. But even if you didn't use that spell, you could have used, like, if there was a target you wanted to hit that was far,
Mm-hmm.
that was out of range of your normal spell, you could have used your staff and been like, and blasted him with a magical bolt.
Oh yes, that I guess yes. I have not done that yet.
Yeah. So, while it's a staff, it actually has range to it.
Yeah.
And when I first saw the statistics on the weapons, I was like, that seems really weird. How can a quarterstaff hit things very far away? That's like 100 feet. No quarterstaff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait a second. It's only the magical weapons that get to do that, and it's because they have magical energies that can be dispelled at range. So that was what it was. So what else did everybody else have to answer Semarif?
We can go down the line, I guess.
Oh, we lost Jane.
Jane.
Jane died.
Jane had a short staff and the ability to turn into shit. And her armor is partially her shell, and then I think leather armor. He gets to add a bonus because of the shell.
Mine's not that exciting and pretty expected. I have a sword and a shield and chainmail for armor.
Yeah. What did
I have
Crazy.
breastplate and a rapier and a whip, and each of them have a special where I can mark stress on each.
to do
One
fun
to attack an
things?
additional enemy next to me, and the whip can scatter people away from me. So it's like a push-pull kind of deal.
Yeah,
That's
kind of
the
like a
idea.
get away. Yep. There we go.
I had a short sword and a hand crossbow, but now I have a second short sword, and I need to figure out
Right.
how and when that works because the class feature changed in the new version, so I don't think it actually works anymore.
Yeah, some of the stuff did change. Sass, you're absolutely right. Technically, that is what what the Clank's armor is. It is technically natural armor,
Oh.
but statistically, it can be statistically chainmail, statistically plate mail. Currently, one of the things I have an issue with is when they change the armor system. Originally, the armor had much higher ratings. So, like, plate mail reduced your damage by 9 per use, but you only had 3 uses. They decided through playtesting, combats can last longer than what you would think, and 3 uses wasn't enough, so they increased the number of uses and lowered the armor. But currently, the difference between chainmail and plate mail is something I know has to be fixed, just because you only gain 1 more point from plate, but your evasion number, which is the number to hit you, goes down by 2. Plus you lose in agility. So to get that 1 extra point of damage resistance, you lose an awful lot. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to put... Even though the Clank could absolutely naturally have plate mail, like we're not going to jank this character by using a bad armor set. We're going to give it the preferable armor set. So there you go. All right, guys. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. As I said, this is our first episode of Daggerheart. More to come, and we should be playing a different game on Thursday. The good news is Thursday, both Shagget and Satch are both in that game, so they're going to have that experience to help bring into the Thursday game as well. Different characters will be running around there. Mythical Paladin, you are welcome. As I said, we wanted to kind of figure it out, and I figured it would be fun to watch. Like Sass says, okay, good. Well, we should be here Thursday. The only questionable entity may be Nat, because our PC is dead and has a fan issue. So it does some overheating, but it kind of works, so she's going to see if it'll work. She has a new fan coming in, but it's not going to be until the weekend. So we'll just have to see. But no, hopefully all things being what they are, we should be good. And like Sass said, yeah, combat's fun to watch. And I think that's what it really comes down to is this fun for viewers? My gut tells me this is going to be a fun game to watch people play because of the freedoms and the narrations. And we got some fun people, so there we go. All right, guys, well, much love. We'll see y'all again soon. Bye!